Good morning and or shortly to be afternoon, at least where I am, everyone. Happy birthday to me! Okay, so a preamble before I start with everything, and holy cats, I'll get to that in a moment. I woke up this morning, got myself, no, I'm not going to go Sopranos. I woke up this morning with a migraine. Not a debilitating one per se, but definitely a annoying one. So if I'm a little scattered, it's because I've been nursing this migraine all day. I've taken some medicine. I got myself some water. Unfortunately, no pepper jacks for my birthday. That's not going to help my head. But otherwise, I am here. I am present. I'm functioning. But it has been a scattered day so far. So I hope beyond hope, that I provide some kind of entertainment for you all as well as myself as I work through insufferable pain. But before I get to complaining more about that, holy cow! Let me get to these real quick before they disappear off the charts here. First off, Kiro Soldier, thank you so much. Happy birthday, Scribe. I pray for you many more. Thank you very much, Kiro Soldier. Very generous of you. Thank you. Very much appreciated. Chicago Mike, thank you. Happy birthday, Scribe. I'm working right now, so I'm unable to watch. Hope you have a great day. Thank you, Mike. Very much appreciated. Hope you have a great day as well. And when you see this, hope you enjoy the show. Zed the Snarky, thank you. Here you go. Enough for half a drink, I think. Happy birthday. Well, with as cheap as I am, that's probably about 3 drinks. But thank you, Zed. I very much appreciate it. Thank you so much. John Miller, thank you so much, John, for the Dancy Kabuki Dogcat Fox. Oh, Dogcat Fox. And the
Wowie. Wow.
Ooh, that's a brand new Your Boy Pat Dogcat Fox. Just in from Your Boy Pat. Thank you, John, so much. And holy cow. Kiever Dam. Thank you. I don't know what to say. That's ridiculously generous. Thank you, Kiever Dam. Appreciate it. Happy birthday. Thank you, Kiever Dam. Appreciate it very much. Hope you're having a good day. Hope you enjoy the show. So yeah. Birthday. It's my 45th birthday. I don't feel 45. I remember when I was a kid, I thought that old was like 20 or something, because that was when I was like 6 or 7 or something. I remember walking to school one day and there was someone that I knew that was like one of my babysitters or something, and they were walking in the other direction. And I knew that they were like 17. And I thought that was old. I thought they were old. Like, what's it like to be that old? Man, I wish I knew what it was like to be that old again. 45. Who else is here? Let me get some more hellos here. Again, apologies. There's no script for this one. I've got no plan. I've got a bunch of invites out for potential people to pop in and say hello. I got a couple of videos or articles to look at to keep ourselves busy and happy as we go. But let's see. Peter, happy birthday, Scribe. Thank you, Peter, so much. Road Dog, is this internet birthday or actual birthday? I saw this posted up yesterday and thought we shared a birthday, but then I saw it was scheduled for today. Happy birthday in any case. It is, for all intents and purposes, my birthday. I only celebrate it once a year, and today's the day. Let's see. Jaeger Pony. Thank you, Jaeger Pony. Happy birthday. Or have a holly jolly birthday. It's the best time of the year. You'd think it would be Christmas, but you'd be wrong. I don't think that quite rolls off the tongue very well. In Human Form. Thank you, In Human Form. Anima Confusa. Thank you so much, Anima. Anima being the significant other of one Gary Kissel, comic book artist and pop culture aficionado extraordinaire. Thank you, Anima. Advocaz Diaboli, good afternoon to you, and thank you so much. Mike Savage, Blarg. Who else is here? JB, happy birthday. Thank you, JB. Appreciate it. John Trioxin, good afternoon to you. Who else is here? Oh, scrolling. Rotten Corpse. Good evening, or good afternoon, Rotten Corpse. Sorry. Early is better, says Miranda Stone. Yes, I decided to start the stream a little bit early. I was a little bit anxious. I decided to start in. Brittany Holland, good afternoon. Misinformation, thank you so much. Spoonie the Rebel, thank you so much. Next 6 minutes, good afternoon. Bishop, thank you so much. Spittlebuggies, thank you so much. Attack Alpaca, thank you so much. Who else is here? Best Remy, thank you. Oh my gosh. Oh, holy cow. Chat Mort, happy birthday. I can only pop in for a moment, but I hope you're feeling better soon. Oh, I forgot. Did I send you the link? If I didn't send you the link, I meant to send you the link. But if you can only pop in for a moment, well, I appreciate you popping in. Chat Mort, thank you so much, guys. If you don't know about Chatmort is one of my oldest YouTube friends on here. Not oldest as in her age. She's still young and spry as far as I know. But as far as like tenure, that's what I mean by tenure. Chronological age sense meeting. Chatmort. She's on YouTube as well. Go check out Chatmort. She has kitty cats. And she does makeup tutorials and other girly stuff, I think. She streams occasionally. Thank you, Mort. Very much appreciate it. Thank you so much. I did send. Okay, yeah, I sort of put the link out to various people. I didn't want to overload it on the chance. I always feel like if I send the link out to too many people, then suddenly I'll have, and maybe this is just my ego talking, I'll suddenly have like 20 people suddenly wanting to get on, and of course StreamYard can only handle like 10 people at a time, and I don't want to like, have to shuffle people off too early or whatever. Gulf City, Peterbilt Confederacy. Good afternoon. Tall person. Good afternoon. I didn't mean to skip you. It's just there's so many people talking at once. Molly Okami. Can't stay, but happiest birthdays to you, Scribe. Thank you, Molly. Appreciate it. I always wondered, Molly, is the last... See, the first time I ever heard the phrase or the word Okami, it was that video game with like the magical wolf dog or whatever. And it was like you had to run through the world. My ex-girlfriend from years ago used to play this game all the time. And it was Okami, and she'd, the little dog would run around and would cure the world of bad things with like paint and art or something. It was very abstract, but whenever I think of Okami, that's what I think of. Rib Rascal, good afternoon. Simon Wilkins, good afternoon. And Drunkle is streaming on Twitch. Drunkle, how dare Drunkle step on, I don't know. Spud Gun, good afternoon. Thank you so much. And Vanilla Bear, hope you had a fantastic birthday. Thank you so much, Vanilla Bear. Appreciate it. Hope you're doing well. And the kids and everything. Hope all is well there. Robert Pincus, good afternoon. And the Demon Man 57. Hello. Yep, like the game. Okay. All right. Well, if I missed anybody, if you're lurking, if you're in the future, hello, good afternoon, good morning, whichever you are. And thank you for joining me for my birthday. So yes, I mean, in addition to being my birthday, it's also sort of like when my YouTube anniversary comes around, I start considering, oh gosh, what has gone on in the last year of significance? What have I done? What have I accomplished? Some things are real life stuff like work things and personal health things. I've been making sure I've been exercising more and trying to make myself feel better. Not that I was, ridiculously out of shape previously, but, as you get older, and as I'm finding out by witnessing my parents, of course, the better you take care of yourself now, the better off you'll be in the future. What else? As many of you know, over the last couple of years, in fact, I've been working to straighten out my teeth. I don't quite have as bad as British teeth, but I had several dental problems when I was growing up, insofar as teeth growing in at different times and in different directions and things, and braces kind of helped, but then they didn't. And I've been meaning to try to correct that over the last several years, but I finally, proverbially speaking, bit the bullet and did Invisalign, and things are much, much better. It's been a very painful process, a very irritating process, but I'm getting there and I'm almost done. I thought I was done, but here's the thing about Invisalign. If you ever do Invisalign, it's not you put them in, everything gets straightened out and it's done, because your teeth have a tendency to want to shift back to where they were before. So it's kind of a constant maintenance thing until things firm up. And I'm still technically in maintenance territory. But that is an accomplishment of a kind, because it is a practically 24/7 commitment to get it working and get the most out of it. So that's been the last year in part, as far as that goes. Again, exercising. The most significant thing that occurred in the last couple of months was my father's diagnosis with leukemia. And thankfully, after treatment, he's in remission. And on that note, if you'll take a look at the top of the chat box, I have a link up there for the donation page for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. That is my chosen charity for this stream and in long term otherwise. So if you have the opportunity, please take a look at that. If you can't donate there, that's perfectly fine. But if you can, share that on social media, I'd appreciate it. And just as I start shilling for good causes, here comes a good cause in human form.
How's it going?
Hey, Formy, how's it going? Long time no talk in person, at least.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Thank you so much. Everybody, if you don't know about Inhuman Form, he is a video, let's say a video essayist. Would that be a better way to classify it?
I guess, video essays or, I kind of consider it somewhat journalism or, just videos.
Yeah, Inhuman Form, I first discovered him when he was doing true crime videos, and I think his first one was on Israel Keys, one of the most dastardly of the modern serial killers. And
I'm bringing it back.
You're bringing sexy back? Yeah.
Yeah. I probably will do a true crime video here soon.
Ooh. Again. Yeah. Formy and Matt Orchard were two of the first real high quality Jim personators that I discovered as a true crime freak back in the day, and have interviewed him several times and had him on for panel discussions and things. So guys, if you don't know about Inhuman Form, check out his channel on YouTube. He's got quite a little library of videos now on both true crime and essays on society and politics and all types of different things. And you're currently now. What's your current area of studying again?
In school, right? Yeah. I'm in my master's. I'm studying for a master's in clinical psychology.
Okay, so soon you're going to analyze the rest of us for how crazy we are.
Yeah, of course.
I'll have to one of these days. I'll have to, like, once you get your master's done and you're actually like a master's and everything, I'll have to have you sit me down, and you can. I don't have a. This is the overlay I use for when I'm talking about psychological things.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to come up with something, and you can psychoanalyze me.
Okay.
Live on stream, we can figure out what's wrong with me.
Sounds good. What do you think? What are you doing for your birthday?
Well, this, pretty much. I won't lie. This is not my actual birthday date, but this is the date that I celebrate on YouTube each year.
Right.
And as for my birthday day, I don't really have any plans. I think my sister might be. I think we might go out to lunch or something. I think, but it's usually fairly low key. Nothing too exciting.
Right on.
I'm really boring in real life. Thank you, Devil Fruit Zero, for the give a dog a bone dog cat fox. Oh, dog.
Wowie fucking wow.
And there's a Satsu dog cat fox. Thank you so much, Devil. Appreciate it very much. Hope you're having a good day. So what's new and exciting in the world of Inhuman Form? What's on your mind?
Nothing. I'm on break for the first time since like 2018 or 2019.
Holy cats.
Yeah, I've just been hammering it through the summers ever since I started college. So, yeah, I have some time to make some videos.
Nice.
Hopefully.
Well, congratulations. And I'm glad you get a break. I mean, that's a long time without a break. It's kind of similar to how I haven't had a actual vacation in 6 or 7 years from work. It's usually half days or things like that.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
No weekends.
Well, aside from weekends, obviously. Well, except for when I'm called in to do stuff over the weekend, which happens once in a while. Yeah, my job is such a bottleneck, and I'm really the only one that does it. And my company has a relatively small workforce that everybody's very specialized, and me in particular. So if there's nobody really to cover me, and it's a very difficult process to get that arranged for an extended period of time. So. But I am hoping in the very near future to remedy that so I can actually take 2 weeks off without actually having to work, which would be amazing. But we'll see. Oh my gosh, the celebrities keep popping in. It is Tom Connors from Midnight's Edge.
That song owes me money.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what to tell you. I'm not much of a hatchet man. Tom Connors, everybody, from Midnight's Edge. I've been watching Midnight's Edge since the Fantastic debacles were taking place back in the olden days, and documentaries on that.
So even before my time, yeah.
I know, yeah. Back when it was just what was it, Robo Shlomo?
Well, even before Rob, there was some of that stuff. It was him and Kevin started it first.
Yeah. But
you
guys don't know about Midnight's Edge. If you're interested at all in pop culture, what goes on behind the scenes in Hollywood or comic book films or genre films or anything like that, for updates and otherwise, definitely check out Midnight's Edge. And also, Tom hosts Mead Radio,
I do.
On his channel. I don't know if is that on a regular schedule? Is that just when Catch as
No,
Catch can?
it's kind of like Shooting Star whenever I can.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but no, there's a lot of birthdays in the community today. Holy cow!
Yeah, I just picked the day, I guess. Spoonie the Rebel, thank you so much. Happy Born Day, Scribbles. Have a few cherry Dr. Pepper on me. Oh, cherry. Oh gosh. Now I'm a purist, unfortunately. Everybody sends me Dr. Pepper stuff, and I appreciate it. They send me pictures of like Dr. Pepper cotton candy or Dr. Pepper.
Isn't Dr. Pepper already kind of cherry flavored? So isn't that like extra cherry flavored?
I don't know what the secret ingredients of Dr.
So
Pepper
that's what I
are.
always kind of understood it was, like a mixture. Like my understanding, the original formula was like a mixture of a bunch of different soda flavors.
I was always
being like yeah, and the main basis though was basically like cherry Coke.
I was always under the impression,
like,
I was told the urban legend to me was that it was made out of prune juice, and that's why it was good for your digestion.
Could be. I see that was now that's the other problem is you have when most of these sodas were created, they've slapped false BS.
Oh yeah, no, it's good for your lumbago or whatever. Yeah,
if you know, like they used to say, drink more beer, it's good for your liver.
Yeah, Coca-Cola keeps you energized, especially when it was green. No, but yeah, but also they have like the crazy Dr. Pepper flavors, like vanilla Dr. Pepper, cherry Dr. Pepper.
Yeah.
Somebody sent me a video where a guy was turning Dr. Pepper into wine by distilling it and all this other crazy stuff. Yeah.
Activist Diabili.
Oh, Advocatus Diaboli, which is the devil's advocate.
I'm not good with the Latin stuff. I thought it was an attempt to emulate. That was my understanding too, is to emulate cherry Coke, and they just kind of made their own thing, and it was so popular that they just started. And actually, I think it was even meant to start as like a cough medicine or some crap like that too. That's where the doctor name came in.
I wouldn't be surprised
because they used to sell sodas all the time. Like, well, of course, we all know the original Coke had cocaine in it.
Mm-hmm. And how those were the pep, all right. Mm-hmm. Now just take these pills, you'll be up all day. Whoa. But yeah, so Tom,
stop drinking these Cokes. I don't understand.
I was curious, Tom, since I've got this sort of quasi update sort of interview thing going on. I was curious, how did you get your start on YouTube in the first place? I always wonder what your origin story was.
I guess I've never told that to you specifically.
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of have to go back to where I came from initially to get into this kind of stuff. Because growing up, I worked in a lot of video stores. And knew a lot of people in that kind of area, so that's kind of how I know some people through vicariously knowing people and stuff through the video industry.
6 degrees of Tom Connors,
kind of like that. And then I actually went to school for radio and television production.
Oh, okay.
And
like my sister did. Yeah.
And unfortunately, I went at a period where it was just between the switch over between analog and digital. So I did work in radio for a short time, but I was young, dumb, and stupid and screwed it up. And then it got to a point where radio had just bypassed me. And at this point, they don't even really hire DJs anymore. So that was not even becoming a viable thing. And I had a kid, so I opened my own video store. That was doing okay until 9/11 happened, and then from there on out, it was just working at various video stores and fast food places just to make ends meet, because I went from paying child support to actually supporting my kid full time. So it was, kind of a big change in my life. And from that point on, I'd always been trying to do stuff in the background with YouTube, whether it was something to do with my music or trying to do some animation stuff or just goofy stuff here and there. And then stuff started happening in Hollywood, and I started noticing this McDonaldization of everything, is what I called it. It was where you just keep chucking them out there. And this is what I've been bringing up lately, where people are all like, oh, it's sad that comic book movies have gone the way they have. It's like, no, we got spoiled by a couple good years there is what happened. Because this is where I come into the fold, was like, I was getting sick and tired of just more of the same, and very little good was coming out of Hollywood. And then the woke thing happened all at the same time.
Yeah.
So like, I think how I got on, I don't remember exactly how I got on Andre's radar outside of being extremely active in the Facebook group. But I did like a couple of videos that I had that circulated around in the group, and I think him and a few other people had seen those, and they're like, yeah, maybe this guy is somebody you should bring on board. And Andre was looking to expand. He had just lost Kevin, who was just left because he was doing his own, he had his own career that he was working on. So he just left the YouTube thing kind of thing. So it was like no animosity or anything like that as far as I know between him and Andre. It was just like, you know, I'm moving on with my career doing this. Here's the keys to Midnight's Edge. And Andre's just kind of like, well, okay. You know, like,
yeah. All right.
So, you know, so he's trying to put together this team. And, you know, as you mentioned before, we already had Rob to handle like the audio side of things, like doing the comment, the narration of the videos. Because Andre wasn't real confident yet enough with his voice. I mean, he had been doing some videos, but he still wanted to have a narrator. He wanted me around for several things, to bounce ideas off, help write, editorial stuff. I also had a background in audio, so I was also going to help with the audio, which was kind of a thing he needed an uptick on as well. And just some minor stuff around, but also I'd be kind of like more like his right-hand man / helper, bounce off things. Because where I came from things, because when we started talking, you know, he wanted somebody to also help him with live streams, because this was way before live streaming had even kind of becoming part of the game here on YouTube for like the norm. I mean, at this time, the only live streams were like Collider, and they weren't even Collider yet. They were still, I think, AMC Movie Talk and stuff yet.
Oh yeah, I mean, we were doing live streams for our
like, yeah, you know. So I remember doing a Midnight's Edge After Dark stream early on before anybody else was really doing streaming. But then as we started doing more of the streaming stuff, that's where I discovered like Nerdrotic and other guys and stuff like that. And I started, you know, and that was another reason Andre wanted me, you know, as being an American, he wanted me to also, you know, start getting involved with these other channels, right? And what's the word I'm looking for? Not socializing, but
networking.
Networking. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you.
Okay.
Networking with a lot of these other guys and stuff.
I have an English major.
Exactly. So like my main thing for him was kind of be the presentation of Midnight's Edge. And that kind of all took a back seat as soon as our editor, who he had hired, decided that he was going to demand a bunch of shit that Andre couldn't even dream of giving him, because he's like, what do you think we do here? How much do you think we actually make? Right. He was just asking for things that were just never going to happen, and back ends on videos that were just never going to happen. And so, and this guy even tried pulling a coup behind the scenes on Andre. And I don't know what he expected out of this thing, but like we all were just kind of like, yeah, no, you know, so we had our contracts and we were cool with that, but like that was what it was at the beginning. But what happened then, and this is why it's important, and I know it's dragging out, long story, but what happened then is we needed somebody to handle editing. And I had a background in it, even though I wasn't. And so I was like, all right, I'll just do this. So everything else I was doing kind of took a backseat to that. And so what you're finally seeing now is the fruition of some of those other things. And we are still working on a lot of those other things I was supposed to be working on originally with the channel, but I kind of de facto became the gopher for everything for the longest time. Gotcha. And yeah, so the last few years have been quite a journey, quite a struggle. But what I've watched is the channel go from like, I think it was like 20 to 30,000 subs. I think maybe a little bit more when he brought me on, to where we're at now. So it's just been an amazing ride.
And I should really,
I feel like I got lucky to get plucked. You know,
I should really have you on to do a, I got an interview series called Familiar with the Matter. I should have you on to talk about that. And
yeah, sorry, I had to, but like I said, you kind of have to know where I came from to kind of get there.
I got you.
What really kind of brought us up, and why I think Andre really liked what I was doing, is because at first, sadly, I have kind of had to put on the back burners. I was bringing all sorts of interviews, right? I had nailed down some really important interviews, specifically Robert Shea and Nicholas Meyer, who Robert Shea is elusive as hell to get an interview with. And Robert Meyer Burnett, who worked on the special features for Lord of the Rings. One of the first things he says to me, goes, how the hell did you get Robert Shea? And I said, Robert, I said, all I had to do was ask him. I said, well, he's like, how did you know? He's like, well, I know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody. Right. Like, really, that's kind of what it was. And I said hi to him and he answered back. Like,
well, I think a lot of people probably think that it's like, real quick before I go on, Tyre Deos, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, this is your day. It's your birthday.
Oh, no, it's fine. Let's see. Oh, Ranting Monkey, Scribbles, sorry I can't get on stream, but wanted to wish you happy birthday. Thank you, Ranting Monkey. Monkey. Ranting Monkey, everybody. If you don't know who Ranting Monkey is, one of my oldest friends on YouTube. Older even than Inhuman Form, and older even than Chat Mort. If you don't know about the Ranting Monkey, check him out on his YouTube channel. He does a stream nearly every day called Monkey in the Morning, along with Jack Cochran, and they talk about the news of the day, amongst other things. And he and I were on a talk show practically every night for 4 years called The Lords of the Night, where a lot of my, I don't know, skills at public speaking and doing live streams and things developed from, and as well made a lot of friends that way. And a lot of people congregated around that show, and I still keep in touch with most of you here as much as I can. So Ranting Monkey, thank you so much. Hope you're having a good day. And yeah, what was I going to say? I was going to say something and then it escaped me. So speaking of celebrities and things, something I've always talked about before. I muse about this all the time because I still have one foot mentally and chronologically in the olden days before the internet, and then one foot in the modern days. And I always make this comparison. In the olden days, I'd watch a TV show like Unsolved Mysteries, right? And I loved Unsolved Mysteries. And I see Robert Stack hosting Unsolved Mysteries. And I'd watch him on TV and I think to myself, wow, he's really cool. I'm never going to meet him. I'm never going to meet my heroes. And I never did. And then YouTube comes along and I start watching YouTube videos and things. And I watch things like Undoomed or Midnight's Edge and things like that. I'm thinking, oh gosh, well, these guys are really cool. I'm never going to meet them. And then it's just a matter of chance and just asking, it's like, and eventually I had Undoomed on Midnight's Edge, and I had him on a couple of streams before. I reached out to Inhuman Form. Like, I was just a fan of his true crime stuff. And I was like, this guy will never talk to me. It's not even worth my time.
Who am I?
Up or something. Yeah. Who are you anyway? I mean, true crime people that do true crime videos, especially now that I've experimented on my own. I just think about just the amount of, I now know exactly, or at least, partially how much work goes into those things and how much thought and creativity and planning and everything. And I put sort of talent and intelligence on such a pedestal, but I also think that makes somebody very distant from relating to or contacting. And so, whenever I sent out emails to people to see if they can do an interview or if I can just talk to them or something, I always feel like, and this even happens right now with the Midnight's Edge. Like I know that for the Tuesday shows and everything, I have an open invitation to just kind of show up if I want to. And yet I feel like
Tuesday
I'm
Tuesday
and Thursday. I feel like I'm intruding. I still have that instinct because I still have that sort of like psychological self-image, confidence issues. Because I'm like, I don't know anything about the entertainment industry. I can't contribute. I worked in a video store back in the olden days for a mom and pop. I saw the onset of DVD versus DivX. I saw the whole DivX thing went up and down, and then the Blockbuster took over everything. Then Laserdisc went out the side, and then DVD showed up. I know a little bit about the old history stuff, and I'm a movie fan and everything, but I can't contribute. But then, I see it's like having Robert Stack on my show or ending up on Unsolved Mysteries as a guest or something. It's just so bizarre to, get to meet your heroes or the people that you admire a lot. And
that
you two guys.
That kind of happened with me and Chomsky because, I had him on my channel for an interview, and people, in real life, people I know, they were like, how the hell did you get Chomsky? I was like, I emailed him. That's it.
Right. It just seems like there's this barrier, this invisible insulation between you and the greats of the world or the figures. And sometimes it's just, what's the worst that can happen? Nothing. Right. And that's sort of what happened with a lot of my true crime interviews and other things. It's just like, well, I don't know this person, but I'll just see. It's like, hey, I've got this thing. You want to come on or whatever, and so for anybody out there that's thinking about starting their own YouTube channel, or you're thinking about trying to set up an interview or something else, the worst that happens is they say no, or you don't get a response at all. And what have you lost in the process? Not much,
Sad part is kind of choosing the path I did. I mean, honestly, we probably could have been more successful, and I could have had tons and tons and tons of more interviews and met a whole lot more people and done more of what we're doing had we not chosen to make a stand.
Yeah.
Right. And sure, we already kind of were headed down that path with Ghostbusters, but I mean, there's so many times we've been turned down now, and it's not because of any other reason than they say no because you're this or that or phobe or whatever channel.
Right.
So we hear that a lot now. So it's like, okay, well, I guess we drew a line in the sand without realizing it, but you know.
Yeah, it's really these days especially, it's hard to try to stay neutral, especially when it comes to some of the subject matter that we cover. I mean, like doing true crime, like what Inhuman Form has done before, pretty cut and dry. You know, an event happens. These are the events, just the facts, ma'am. There you go. If there's any commentary or otherwise in there, it's usually by the side, depending on your style. But when you're covering current events or, you know, Hollywood or entertainment or politics or education or anything, unless you're just trying to do straight, flat reporting on just the facts, ma'am, it's hard not to put in some commentary and editorial, especially when you're not like a professional journalist, although what that means these days, who knows. I've always wanted to talk to somebody on the opposite side of where I'm at. This is why I look at things like TEDx talks and panel discussions on things that I reflexively would probably cringe at, because I want to at least keep my mind open to the possibility I could be wrong. I also want to know if I am going to oppose something, I want to know what I'm opposing and have an understanding of it, even if I don't end up agreeing with it. But I've also had my mind changed drastically before, either on the Second Amendment in one case or Andre completely schooling me on the Punisher short film. I mean, I tell you what, that was one of the most recent dramatic mind changes I've had, just because I hold that character so near and dear. And I'm on a stream with Andre, who I'd never had an opportunity to talk to before. Immediately start talking about the Punisher, and I say, "Oh yeah, Dirty Laundry was great," and he's like, "No, that was such an affront to the character." Like, what? And he schools me. I'm like, oh, and it's just, you got to keep that little percentage of yourself open to the possibility that you either could be wrong about something or have your mind changed. It's difficult for a lot of people because we feel things are so polarized, and it's always such a us and them, you're on the right side or wrong side of things so often, that giving any ground is a sin to the hardliners, and you'll immediately become a pariah if you even give an inch on anything, which is a terrible place to be. It doesn't really matter where you're at. But
yeah, I agree.
Anyway, didn't mean to get so philosophical there for a second. This is Kyle says, what was wrong with Dirty Laundry? Okay, I'll briefly. Okay, so I as far as someone who furthers the character of the Punisher, I very much appreciate Thomas Jane, star of the 2004 Punisher movie. He did a short film called, for those of you that don't know, he did a short film called Dirty Laundry, which was part of the, I think it was called like the Bootleg Universe or something. There were about 3 films in that. There was one for Punisher, one for Venom, and there was another one that I forget off the top of my head. But either way, Dirty Laundry is a short Punisher film, and it has Thomas Jane and Ron Perlman in it, of all people. And it's a great short little film that doesn't jazz up it's the Punisher or anything. But the very end of it, the Punisher has defeated the bad guy. I won't go into details. But then he leaves it to someone else to finish off the bad guy. And Andre rightfully corrected me, and he said the Punisher would never do that. The Punisher is there to take the brunt of the sin off of society for doing what needs to be done. He wouldn't let that rest on someone else's shoulders. He's the one that's supposed to be doing that. That is his role. And for years and years and years, I was a big fan of this. I thought it was the greatest Punisher film ever made in aggregate of all the things that have been made. And when he said that, my brain like went, you're absolutely right. As a fan of the character, I'm like, you know what? I've been wrong this entire time. That is a fatal flaw of that story. Still really good up to that point, but that finisher, or lack thereof, let's say, changed my mind about the character.
And I think the reason behind that, I think, works. You can almost put that towards almost any superhero, right? It's kind of like the reason why they're doing it. It almost like you even Batman, I don't think would put somebody in that position.
No, they're the shield.
Clearly, Superman wouldn't either. You know, so like
they're
Andre's point is completely sound, right? So,
yes, it is. Yeah, no, he corrected me on that, and he was absolutely right. And so that still makes it that just about every adaptation of the character on film or otherwise has some large or small fatal flaw to the representation of the character. Except for Warzone, Ray Stevenson did the best overall Punisher, and save for the script that was taking place around him, he was the best Punisher at this point, I think. But that's a whole I should just have a stream that just talks about Punisher stuff with Punisher
appreciation on
oh, by the way, I didn't even do it. Tom, for me, Tom, two different genres, two different things. I just want to say, both for posterity's sake and otherwise, I'm so appreciative of YouTube and the opportunities I've had to meet so many different people with so many different talents and passions and skill sets in the time that I've done this through interviews and just by dumb luck. And so, representation as it is, I appreciate the fact that both of you represent the scope of what is possible in just ending up on here and trying to leverage it for, when I got on here originally, it was just to find a place to express myself outside of the confines of Facebook, where anything I said was, at that point, pretty much turned into poison by the people around me who had changed so drastically in the previous 2 years into politically correct, pearl clutching, the jokes that we used to share were no longer valid kind of stuff. And I never imagined that I'd be have the opportunity to meet so many interesting people and really expand not only my mind on different things and my experiences with different things, but also just to meet you guys and have people that I consider my friends on here. And so I appreciate you guys. And anybody else in the chat, like your boy Pat is here. Hey Pat, I used your Wowie Wow Wow earlier. Hope you're doing good. And Pincalo, hey Pincalo, how's it going? And I sent Blind Press a link for the show. I don't know if she got it already, but I sent it to her on DMs if she wants to pop in at some point.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, and I appreciate you. And I know it's been a while since we've spoken and everything, just because of life and your studies and everything. But at some point, have to have you on. I still want to do another true crime panel at some point.
Oh yeah, that would be cool.
Trying to keep that series going has been tough because for the most part, true crime content creators seem, and I mean, not necessarily of all of them, but seem like a very isolated bunch. It's very difficult to get them to interview or to respond, or maybe they're not comfortable with it. I had one individual.
Have you spoken with Dave or like Matt Orchard or anybody recently?
Well, I had Dave, Matt, and Stay Awake on for a panel discussion a couple of months ago now. I forget what it was. It was initially meant to talk about the Darrell Brooks case because they'd all done videos on Darrell Brooks. And it quickly, that petered out pretty quick. And then it just turned into sort of like a smorgasbord of just discussing different things about true crime and otherwise, which trying to keep it isolated to one case, I think won't be my goal in the future. I got to find like a broad topic to keep things on. Yeah. But it was a really interesting conversation. People really enjoyed it. We talked about a whole bunch of different other things in true crime and cases otherwise. And it was a good time. It's just, plus the fact that you've got somebody in Canada, somebody and two people in Australia, and trying to keep the time zones all lined up to do something like that.
Oh, and, yeah, different time zones.
Oh, Pincala, I'd like to see you and Kurt get back together and have a word. Yeah, Kurt Metzger, man, I tell you what, of all the weird, like, distant things that happened on here, Kurt Metzger, Peabody award-winning comedian and writer for TV shows and everything else, touring comic. He spots a clip of one of my shows on a different stream of a friend of mine, gets in touch with me and wants to have me on his show. It's just the most random thing ever. It's so incredible. And I got to be on a show a couple of times. I know, it's just bizarre. And then I came on for a couple of TEDx's, and he came on for my anniversary stream last October for a bit. And it's the magic of just like Tom said, networking and just the sort of things falling into place just as a matter of luck and chance when it comes to these things. But really, and this is the toughest thing to do. You just have to sort of occasionally take the plunge and just, take a risk, send out an email, start doing a stream, even or a show or a YouTube channel, even though you suck at it. I mean, I look back at my old videos and I cringe a little bit. And speaking of cringing, hey, look, it's Jerry.
I gotta go.
Oh, yeah. Oh no, get away from this guy.
Yeah.
How you doing, Gary?
I'm doing good, buddy.
Nice to see you, Gary. Everybody, Gary Cassell, comic book artist, pop culture aficionado extraordinaire. Also,
in fact, that picture of Tom was done by me.
Oh, was it?
And I also created Tom
in a lab.
I can believe it. I can almost believe it. So, Gary, I had you on not too long ago for one of my editions of Familiar with the Matter, talking about your comic book project, Vindicated Inc. How is that going? And what's next in the...
Because I love the guys over at fundmycomic.com. Great guys. But I couldn't get past the curve. So I went ahead, had him in the campaign. And because they successfully funded me, but we still haven't funded Richard Bonk or the printing. So I'm just going to go at each one separately. So I'm going to launch not a GoFundMe, what do you call it? Indiegogo, just for Richard Bonk's portion. And then when the book is done, then do a campaign for the printing.
Cool. All right. And also, Gary, Inhuman Form, who I don't think you've met before. He's a YouTuber.
Good to meet you.
True crime and video essays and things like that. Also, guys, Pop Culture Minefield is Gary's big project on YouTube. Shows every week regarding specific movies or pop culture news and movies and TV shows and things. So check out Pop Culture Minefield on YouTube. I'm sure some helper in the chat may provide links to all of my friends' channels, since I don't have them.
Yeah, it looks like you got a couple of three.
I got several
wrenches. Four.
Yeah,
4-inch wrenches I can see.
Yeah, well, I have a lot of wrenches because since I haven't gotten around or figured out
6 wrenches.
There's actually quite a few wrenches because in the absence of having a membership,
everybody's got a wrench.
Well, okay, all right. So I don't do memberships.
I want everybody to look underneath your seats.
Yeah. Well, yeah. In recognition of some people,
a blue wrench.
Yeah,
you get a wrench. You get a wrench.
In recognition of tenure of being an audience member and or somebody that I see all the time or whatever else. There's not really a particular measure of who gets a wrench, but it's just sort of like, I haven't gotten around doing memberships. I'm not sure if I'll ever do memberships, trying to keep this as casual as possible. Also, speaking of Tom's artwork there, I love this little thing I put together. I know I'm advertising.
That's still my artwork.
I used that for a while. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I thought that worked out perfectly, but anyway, there he is.
What I did is I redid that. It's from the movie poster I did for Fanzine, for their documentary on sci-fi, the 80s.
Yep.
And Tom liked that drawing.
He drew me like Drew Struzan.
Yeah, that's what I thought when I saw that. I was like, that's very good.
Because you're kind of like a student of Drew's, weren't you, Jerry?
He was my mentor, and him and his wife Dylan are friends of mine. Wonderful people. I've tried to get him on the show. He won't. The only time he did an interview was with Eric Sharkey, another friend of mine who made the documentary about Drew Struzan.
And that's a great documentary.
He'll ever do an interview. Oh my God, it's amazing. And but so much of the stuff in that documentary was shit that I already knew. I was like, am I going to learn something I didn't know? I'm like, damn it. I knew that.
Well, I've said it before, and I'm not kidding. Like, Hollywood needs to turn to guys like you, because that's what we're missing in movie posters. I'm sick of these floating heads.
It's why he left them.
Yeah.
Tom.
I'm sick of the crappy art.
I'm he's not happy I tell this story, but the reason he left Hollywood was because of the shit that was going on at Warner Brothers. And I mean, other studios had messed him over, seriously. But Warner Brothers did some of the most fucked up shit to him. And Blade Runner was one of the primary ones, because that famous early poster he did back in 81 that they used for the book cover, Warner gave that artwork. It was a comp. He didn't get paid for that to be used for the book cover. And immediately after it got released, it got pulled. And then they put 2 other editions out. One with the photo of Deckard walking through, it's a photo from the movie of him walking through Union Station. And the other one was the painting done by, I just forgot his name. I was a friend of his too. And I just forgot.
Not good enough, apparently.
No, he and Drew competed all the time. Both of them did Rambo, E.T. posters. You know, great guy. Went to the gym one day and told his wife, I'm feeling a little off. He was going to go lie down. Fucking died.
Oh, man.
Felt funny after a workout. And he was in his 60s. And,
but movie posters, like when I think of like movie posters, I think of Chinatown, like that. Like you take the text off that, and you've got something you put up on the wall and frame just as art by itself.
Oh, exactly. And the thing is,
even,
though,
yeah.
I wanted to finish. I'm sorry, Scribe, because what Warner did, they fucked him over during the Harry Potter thing. And because he did the first movie poster, and he was supposed to do every movie poster. That was their agreement. And he did. And then they would reject it. And if you've ever seen his other Harry Potter poster that got rejected, it's like, what the fuck are you thinking? And that was right at the period where they decided that anybody with Photoshop can make a movie poster. Right. And they stopped giving a shit about poster artists. And Drew had had his feel. He just was done. And he looked at me and he goes, I don't need this shit in my life. I've made my money. I'm happy. What he'll do is occasionally, if somebody rubs him the right way, he'll come out of retirement and do some more artwork, like he did for what's his name? Did Hellboy, the good one.
Oh yeah, Guillermo del Toro.
Del Toro. He'll do stuff for people like that, and it's personal. He did not do the official movie poster for Star Wars, but they paid him to do a Star Wars poster for Force Awakens. That was done on the side, not for the movie. I don't know if they even told him that. And because Drew won't tell me when we're talking, he won't tell me some things. Because, he knows I'm in the public eye, so he doesn't want my stuff being repeated anymore. But Andy, I learned a lot of stuff.
Sorry, real quick. Andy Masterson, thank you so much. Happy birthday, Scribe. Thank you, Andy. Andy, also one of my newer YouTube friends from the panel discussion, the shit list.
That name sounds so familiar. I'm like, I think I know Andy Masterson for some reason.
He's the figure man.
Yeah,
I was thinking the same thing. It's one of those names that sounds famous.
Well, it is. He's Andy Masterson.
He's Andy Masterson.
So, but by the way, you're another Taran. You're a Taran brother. My birthday is this coming Sunday.
You see, now I remember like years and years ago they said that the all the horoscopes shifted because of the shifting of the stars since the horoscopes were first established. So like some people switched over to a different sign if they were too close to the edge.
2 months off, as I recall.
Yeah, something like that. But anyway, what else is going on? Well, so I didn't have a script for this show. How long can you guys stick around? I don't want to keep you or nothing.
I can't stick around too long because Anima's waiting for me right now.
Oh, okay.
I saw the invite, and I didn't know if you were still streaming, so I wanted to.
Oh no! This is a pop in as you're able and pop out when you need to kind of thing. This isn't a long.
It's my favorite kind.
I with that smile, I can tell.
When I what? Yeah.
I just pop in and pop out. Yeah, wham bam. Thank you, ma'am. But I appreciate you guys coming on. I just want to let you guys know that I'm very grateful to have in the last year, especially had the opportunity to talk to you guys and hang out and especially interview you, Jerry, and get to hang out with you, Tom. It's been really gratifying. Just
we've been friends for a while, and you still fuck my name up. It's amazing.
I know.
I do it on purpose just to piss him off.
So, do you know that the term gerrymandering should actually be pronounced gerrymandering because that's how the guy's last name was actually pronounced? Just a weird trivia point. Yeah,
it's gerrymandering, and also my name comes from the name Garrett.
Oh, I thought it was Gerald.
No, Gerald came from Garrett. Garrett is the ancient name. Gerald, and it was not Gerald at the time. It was pronounced Gerald.
Yeah. See, the problem is that I've known a couple of people in life with your same name spelling who are called Jerry. So I automatically I'm trained to say Jerry, and I know that's incorrect, but I apologize.
They're idiots, except for Jerry Anderson.
If you notice, I never call him Gary. It's always Geary, Jerry. Anything but Gary, just to be an asshole.
Yeah, no,
actually, that's a reference to my sister because that's what she calls me. Because she was raised in Brooklyn, so she's got a Brooklyn accent. She's Geary, and she's Jewish too. On top of that, but she says Gary, and what else is she? Oh, she says some funny shit. Oh, give me a phone call.
Put a car in the car park. Oh, I got another celebrity here. Blind Press is on the air.
Hey, what's up? I hate to leave, But
Yes.
Anima's waiting for me. It's I'm gonna have a little date time with my girl. Tom, good seeing you, buddy. We got a show this weekend. We are doing Planet of the Apes, 1968.
Ooh, classic. Well, thanks for coming on, Gary. Appreciate it. Everybody check out Pop Culture.
Nice to meet you, Blind Press.
Good to see
you. Happy birthday, Scribe. I love you, buddy. You're a good dude.
Appreciate it, Gary. Thanks so much. Have a good day.
Yeah. Why is it when Charlton Heston is acting, he sounds like he's got to take a shit all the time?
Oh my God. Blind Press, everybody. This is Blind Press, another one of my elder friends insofar as
there's a lady on
YouTube. I know. There's mind your manners now. Blind Press
where?
who
There's a lady where?
Well, here's the thing. You can't see her. Because as many of you may or may not know, Blind Press has no eyeballs and plays Mortal Kombat competitively, as well as being a Star Trek expert, amongst other things, and also an expert on Canadian politics. Blind Press, nice to see you.
Thank you. Happy birthday.
Appreciate it. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm okay. I'm plugging away at the channel. I'm plugging away at the everyday thing and just trying to get more traffic up to the channel. Yeah. I'm multi-streaming now. I'm doing Twitch and YouTube.
Oh, gee, I haven't even done that. I have a Twitch channel that I never use. I've got a Rumble that I never use. I think I could multi-broadcast, but I've never tried to do it because I figure I'd screw it up somehow. But yeah, everybody, if you don't know about Blind Press, seriously, she does competitive Mortal Kombat games. And like I said, she's blind. She can't see anything. And so just if you didn't know any better, you'd imagine you're watching like a professional Mortal Kombat. She is, but I mean, what I mean is that it's just it still boggles my mind. And I always wondered, does the game provide you like sound cues or something? I mean, how do you navigate?
So back in the good old days, before game accessibility was like a cool thing to talk about, right. You would sit in front of your CRT TV with the sound up as loud as you could.
Oh, geez. Okay.
So you could hear where you were and where your opponent was. But now it is super. I'm spoiled with Mortal Kombat 1 because they gave us proximity detection. So there's like a clicking noise that speeds up when you're close to your opponent and it slows down when you're farther away. Mm-hmm. And then there are different tones that are played when you land a hit, whether it's low hit, middle hit, high hit, overhead hit. So you know what you're landing and what to block. Mm-hmm. And then there's a screen reader, so you can now learn all of the combos for any character by accessing the move list, which is something that you've never been able to do before. Street Fighter 6 doesn't have that, which is why I don't play it, because it's not as, like, the sound design isn't as good. The proximity detection isn't as easy to hear. It's just not on par. I feel like if any other fighting game comes out and doesn't do what NetherRealm did, I'm going to be very spoiled. I'm like not going to want to play it because it's so well done.
Pecoraro, the driving ape man, husband to Blind Press, says, from what we have figured out, she is the only totally blind female gamer. Everyone else has more than zero light perception.
Yep.
I could believe it. And like I say, guys, if you just watch her play the game, you wouldn't know. You wouldn't know. And it's just incredible to me that she's able to do that. And I've had Blind on a couple of times to do TEDx's, specifically either on sight disability or disability in general, and getting using her, because I like using women as a source of expertise on the subject matter.
Well, at least you
discuss
admit
such a thing. Well, I was president of the bondage club in college, but that's a whole other thing.
Hey, there you go.
But
are you really?
No, it's literally true. I was president of the bondage club. It's a true story. It's a very garbled ways of how it happened. It was all by sort of like chance and accident, but yep, it came to pass. That was many as I ponder my 45th birthday, it was many years ago. Oh well, that's another thing. So what's new and exciting in the world? Give us the latest Canadian controversy, because I know that you're keeping up with Canadian politics and there's so much going on over there. What's really chapping your hide at the moment? Give us your top number one story.
Well, let's see. Justin Trudeau, I think, has just his party, as long as you don't think that what his party is doing is good, then you obviously hate children and you think the planet's and you don't literally think the planet is on fire, because in their minds the planet is apparently in the middle of the Permian extinction, and we're all dying, and the forest fires that are now coincidentally 6 forest fires that have just magically shown up right when everyone's fighting about spending more money to fight climate change. I don't know how you can spend money to fight climate change. I didn't think the climate cared about money, but okay.
Well, unless you're going to spend so much money as to pay off China and other countries that have an industry that is pumping gas into the atmosphere.
Yeah, well, no one's going to do that.
No, of course not.
Right. So, but yeah, it's literally anything that you question that they're doing. It's you hate kids because they, instead of lowering the carbon tax, which they're literally taxing, it's a gas tax basically. Mm-hmm. So they're taxing farmers for using fuel to grow food and harvest food. They're taxing truckers to deliver the food. Therefore, everybody's groceries are exponentially higher. And apparently, instead of lowering that tax, they would rather implement a national school food program for kids. And they don't understand why parents don't want that. Apparently, they don't like kids. If you don't want your child eating government food off of a food truck, you hate children.
Yeah, we hear that a lot in the rest of the media and things. It's like, well, if you don't like this movie, you're obviously racist. If you don't like this thing, you're obviously this, that, or the other. Yeah, it's always, won't somebody please think of the children and so on. Guilt trip city. Tom, I think you said you had to Splitsville?
Yeah, unfortunately, I should get going here, although this is a very interesting topic. And it was nice to have met you, Blind Press and in human form. And of course, Scribe, happy birthday. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Tom. Appreciate you coming on and stopping by. I know you're a busy man.
Wonderful one. Well, I wish I wasn't so busy sometimes, but then other times I'm happy that I am. So it's kind of a double-edged swords of sorts.
Sweet and sour sauce of life. Well, thank you, Tom. Everybody check out Midnight's Edge and be sure to follow Tom on Twitter at Thomas J. Connors. Is that it on Twitter?
No, Thomas Connors Jr. Close though.
Thomas Connors Jr. The J was in there somewhere. Thomas Connors Jr. on Twitter, guys, and check him out. And thank you, Miranda Stone, for putting up the Inhuman Forum link as well. But Tom, thank you so much. Hope you have a good rest of your day, and I'll talk to you soon.
All right, thanks, guys.
Yep, take care. Let's see. Well, like I said, for me, what's your schedule looking like? You don't have to. I don't want to keep it.
No, I'm totally hanging out. I'm on vacation. Remember?
Oh, that's right. Well, I appreciate you taking me along for your vacation for a bit.
Thanks for having me.
Let's see. Well, I did have a couple of things prepped in case there was some kind of lack of activity or something, but I don't know if you guys are interested. It's just like, I don't know. I'll give you an option. I got a couple of news articles. I got a TEDx, a very long TEDx, and I have a National Association of Independent Schools promotional video.
Oh God.
Let's do a news article.
Okay, well, let's do a news article first. Let's see, which one do we want to do? Oh, let's do this one. This is
nonsense out there.
Oh, you have you watched my channel? Anyway, so let's see. How about this one that came out just the other day? Mayor Eric Adams in New York City. Now, there's a whole extra layer of stuff going on in New York City, but this is just amazing. Eric Adams suggests migrants could fill New York City's lifeguard shortage because, quote, they're excellent swimmers, unquote.
Holy fuck, that's racist as shit.
I mean, if they can get across the Rio Grande.
Yeah, but I mean, like, are they all coming from Mexico? Like, that's a generalization, isn't it?
Mayor Eric Adams on Tuesday suggested migrants should be hired And there's a reason why he wants to get migrants employed as quickly as possible. They probably mention it here. Should be hired to fill the city's lifeguard shortage because, quote, they're excellent swimmers. His Honor dropped the comment after being asked during a city hall briefing about lifeguard staffing at the city's beaches and pools, okay, which have increasingly had issues in recent years ahead of Memorial Day. Going off on a tangent, Adams indicated that Gotham's lifeguard shortages could easily be fixed if migrant work visas were being expedited for those jobs that needed to be filled quickly. Quote, how do we have a large body of people that are in our city, our country, that are excellent swimmers, and at the same time we need lifeguards, and the only obstacle is that we won't give them the right to work to become a lifeguard, unquote, the mayor said. Quote, that just doesn't make sense, unquote. So for some context, New York City, along with Chicago and Denver in the last year in particular, have been inundated with excess, well, let's see, I'll be diplomatic and say questionable asylum seekers being sent to or making their way to their cities, because in New York specifically, there is a law that I think they're either have been attempting to or have already overturned. There was a statute in the city of New York that said if you do not have a home, the city of New York will provide you a home. It was part of the law. If you are homeless, they will give you a home or find a way to get you home, housing, and resources thereof. Up to this point, historically, it hasn't really been taxed that much. But then when you have tens of thousands of people showing up month over month, it became overwhelming to their system and to their resources. And so they started clearing out hotels and giving people showing up to the city space in 5-star hotels that they were renting out and spending God knows how much money on. And at the same time, none of the people showing up had work visas. So they couldn't legally work. Nobody could legally employ them. And so they're just there siphoning off of public resources and public assistance. And so they wanted to start changing the laws in the state of New York to expedite work visas, amongst other things, just to get everyone employed and out of social welfare in the city. Except to do that, they would have to bypass a whole bunch of checks and balances on background checks and health checks and a whole bunch of other things, just to start giving people who are showing up and asking for free stuff more free stuff quicker than before. And so now we have at the point where Mayor Eric Adams, who prior to all this was a very sanctuary city-minded individual, along with the governor of New York, Kathy Hochul, having an about face in the last year. Last year too. There are videos of him inviting people to come to New York. We're in New York. We accept everybody. We're welcome to everybody. And then they took him up on his word. And now he's become a right-wing nut job, apparently. Scores of migrants wade across the
coming from typically.
They're typically coming from Mexico, Honduras, Nicaragua, a lot of the
Venezuela. Probably.
Yeah, Venezuela. Well, Venezuela certainly, because as far as I understand it, Venezuela does not have a what's the word I'm looking for? Extradition policy with the U.S. So if you're a Venezuelan, you show up in the U.S., Venezuela will not just take you back.
No.
So New York actually implemented a special policy specifically for Venezuelans that gave them advantages in certain areas over anyone else from any other country, because New York couldn't get rid of them. Like by law, they didn't have any place to put them. So Venezuelans got on a fast track for things. And I think that was one of the biggest demographics. So scores of migrants wade across the Rio Grande along the U.S.-Mexico border every day in a bid to enter America, and many of them drown in the process, or just about, in an out-of-control situation that has flooded the Big Apple with immigrants needing shelter, food, medical care, and other necessities. Adams also rattled off a slew of other jobs that could be filled if the red tape were cut and work permits were sped up for skilled migrants. Quote, if we had a plan that said if there was a shortage of food service workers and those who fit the criteria, we're going to expedite you. If you have the experience that you are a nurse and we have a nursing shortage, we would expedite you, he said. It's the same for lifeguards. We have all these eligible people waiting to work with the skills we need to do the jobs, but we are unable to allow them to work because bureaucracy is in the way. Yeah.
Does he not understand that swimming is only one criteria to be a lifeguard?
I'm not sure he understands a whole heck of a lot, honestly.
Like, You kind of need to know how to save people's lives too.
Right, CPR.
Besides political bedside manner here, while it isn't the first time Adams has made a plea for migrants to fill lifeguard positions across the city, the mayor previously hadn't made the connection to their swimming ability. Meera Joshi, deputy mayor for operations, followed up on the current shortage, saying 560 first-time lifeguards passed the quote-unquote rigorous testing for positions ahead of the summer this year. By comparison, 364 applicants passed last year. What's the shortage? How many jobs? When you have tens of thousands of people showing up, how many lifeguard positions would actually solve any problems? Here we go. It wasn't immediately clear how many existing lifeguards would be recertified for this summer to add to the numbers. Okay.
Well, and there's also you'd probably have to see how many like pools and beaches there are in the city, and then like how often are they open. And
here you go. It says roughly 1,500 are needed to staff the 14 miles of beaches and public pools scattered across the city.
Okay.
So if they only had 364, well, let's just round up to 400. So 400 is like at 1,100 jobs for Gadzooks number of individuals in the city. So great. That'll solve the problem. And also they can obviously swim. I mean, if you can make it across the Rio Grande, you're obviously ready for lifeguard duty, I guess.
Oh yeah, totally.
Anyway, so there's some news.
Have you ever seen Nate the Lawyer cover Eric Adams?
Oh yeah, I've watched a lot of Nate the Lawyer. He's good. He's good. Thank you, Vader35. Happy birthday, Scribe. Thank you, Vader35. Very generous of you. Appreciate it. That's your first super chat on a live stream? Oh my gosh. My show broke your chat cherry thing? Okay. Thank you, Vader35. Appreciate it very much. Also, Dina B, thank you so much. Reject, thank you so much. Let's see. Kenny on Cat Piss. Also, oh boy, your birthday is the day after mine. Yay! Well, yippee! And happy birthday to you, Kenny. Let's see. A bunch of other people I'm sure I missed down here talking to everybody. Gary came back and said John Alvin was the poster artist who passed away. Okay, yeah, you can remember the name at first. So John Alvin was the name. Let's see. What else do we have? Yeah, so we got that article, and I got what was the other one? That's a bit more involved. So you guys want to do a National Association of Public Schools, public schools, independent schools. It's about a 5-minute video. Or I've got a very, very lengthy TEDx that goes, I think, over 20 minutes.
I'm down for whatever you guys want.
Okay. Bruno Montiero. There's a name I haven't seen in a while. Bruno Montiero. Nice to see you. Happy birthday. Thank you. Appreciate it. Hope you're having a good day. Chat. What do you think? You want to do what you want to do first? You know, National Association of Independent Schools. I keep saying public schools, independent schools, or I've got a lengthy TEDx on a serious subject. I don't know. You guys decide what you want to do first. Yvonne Solomon, fortunately can't stick around, but happily birthday, Scribe. Well, happily Wednesday to you, Yvonne. Thank you so much. Hope you're having a good day. Nice to see you. No, I know. I'm an English major. I forgive typos, but I still like to say them anyway because they're fun. Advocata says it's a pain either way, so you choose. Oh gosh, there's enthusiasm for you.
Ouch!
Thanks so much. You're like, okay, well, gosh, whatever. I mean, do I hit my toe with a hammer or do I hit it with a bag of flour? I mean, which one of the two? Okay. Jeez. Should I put up a poll or something?
I think I'm gonna have to take off. Actually, Scribe.
Okay.
Somebody calling me, but
no worries.
Thanks for having me, and happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for coming on, everybody. Yeah, we'll do. And everybody, check out Inhuman Forum. Take care for me. Have a good day.
See you.
Yep. Well, now it's just you and me, BP.
Oh.
All right. Well, how about we do? Let me switch out of that. We'll do the short one first. See how that goes.
All right.
See how people can handle this one. All right. So now this, I've done many National Association of Independent Schools videos over the years. They stopped doing these about a year or two ago. Now they just do like promos for their podcasts or live streams. Back in the day, they used to do these short little vignette videos interviewing educators or administrators from independent schools talking about different subjects. And I had a field day with them back in the day because they were just, a lot of them were just completely out there. Unbeknownst to me, there's a couple that I missed. There's like 3 or 4 that I never saw for some reason or another. Probably YouTube decided not to notify me about it, or I missed it along the way. Uh-oh.
There is a screaming child.
I hear a wild animal out there somewhere. Okay.
Let me go and check.
Okay. I'll let you go check on your wild animal there for a second. But yeah, I used to do these. Most of them can be found in my Curriculum of Fear playlist on my channel if you're curious, looking at different aspects of education and things. And yeah, so there's like 3 or 4 of them that got under my radar. This is one of them. I'll wait till Blind gets back to go over it. But in the meantime, let's see, what else do we have here? Spoonie the Rebel. Well, time for me to take my nearly blind cat friend for a vet check to see how his eyes are healing. Oh boy, have fun, nerds. Well, all the best to kitty cat friend, and hopefully the eyes heal quickly. Thank you, Spoonie. Hope you're having a good day. Let's see. What else do we have here? Oh, and also Miranda Stone, thank you so much for providing the link to Blind Press's channel. Guys, check out Blind Press on the YouTubes. Appreciate it. And also, yeah, I haven't done it yet. I meant to make a stinger for Miranda Stone, Queen of the Discords. I was going to make a little Miranda Stone stinger on here, but I didn't. I did, however, see on the chance that Tailed Feature was going to show up, and he can't just because of scheduling and time zones and everything else. I did create a special stinger just for Tailed Feature, and since he's not going to be here, on the chance that he sees this in the future, or I can use this in the future, here it is.
I like that.
Yep, there you go. There's some bagpipe music and a movie poster of Tailed Feature as Braveheart, because
that's awesome.
Because of course, yeah. All right, so yeah, this is the National Association of Independent Schools, and the title of this one is, and I haven't watched this yet, so this is all new to me. I woke up like this, teaching and practicing authenticity in predominantly white spaces.
Oh,
I know it's very serious stuff here.
Okay.
All right, so here we go. Let's see how this hashes out. Oh, well, hold on. Before I even get to do that, holy cats. Chaos Eve. Holy cow. Happy birthday, Scribbles. Hope you're having an awesome day. I love you. Thank you, Eve. That's very generous of you. Wow. Thank you, Eve. Appreciate it. Are you free to come on, Eve? I can send you the link. I must have... I tried to send out the link to several different people. I don't, obviously I missed a couple. If you have the time, I'm happy to send you the link, but thank you so much. Chaos Eve, but if you don't know about Chaos Eve, check out Chaos Eve on YouTube and Twitch. Eve streams on Twitch recently, or got streaming again on Twitch recently, doing video game streams and other things. But let me know, Eve. Tell you what, I'll just do this. I'll send you the link. I'll find you here real quick in the DMs. And if you can, great. If you can't, that's perfectly fine too. Let me find you here. There you are. And there you go. If you're able to hop on, cool. If not, I hope you have a good day. And thank you so much, Eve. That's ridiculously generous of you. And guys, speaking of generosity, again, if you take a look at the top of the chat box, there's a link up there to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. Early in March, my father was diagnosed with leukemia. Thankfully, he's in remission now after treatment. But the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society has been a charity, my preferred charity for several years now for various other personal reasons. So if you guys have the opportunity, please take a look at that. If you can donate, please do so. If you can't, that's fine. But if you can share that out on social media, I would appreciate it, and so would many others. So thank you so much. With that, let's continue on with National Association of Independent Schools.
Did they film this on a cell phone?
Cultural authenticity at its center is about making sure that you are being true to oneself, and you're not trying to imitate what you think you should be or what others have told you should be.
I guess that depends on the context, because if I show up to class when I was a kid and I was, rowdy, and then somebody says, no, we speak in, 12-inch voices here or something, or like, this is our indoor behavior versus something else. Like, my natural inclination might be to be, but then there are profession, like this is something I complain about a lot. The deterioration of professional distance, especially in workplaces and things, where bring your whole self to work oftentimes comes across as let's do away with your real life versus your work life, which can lead to some, I think, awkward and or dangerous, not necessarily, physically dangerous, but sort of dangerous territory as far as comfort zones and whether this is something that's your business or not. A lot of the DEI stuff promotes that, where they will elevate your sexuality or your personal life or try to make your personal life part of the corporate culture, which is, to me, a little creepy at times. But okay. But anyway, we're talking about kids, right? You're talking about your students, right?
I would hope
but
so.
You are identifying what pieces of your culture do you want to bring to the forefront, bring to the classroom, bring to your community, celebrate, and openly practice. And that can be from the way you walk, the way you talk. What? That can be from what you wear, the music, the food that you eat.
Well, the food that I ate in school was what they gave me during lunchtime.
Yeah, whatever I think is like they packed like lunches, right, for like what your parents might pack, but
right, yeah.
All of this is like nothing to do with education.
Well, well,
how you interact with your peers, which like that's part of education, I guess, but as a teacher,
I guess I need some specifics because I'm not quite sure. And just for Blind's reference, and I don't know if this is relevant or not because I don't know what school that they're teaching in, but our speaker's wearing a hijab.
Okay.
So I'm assuming that when she's talking about culture, like when she says what you wear, how you walk, etc. Like, okay, well, whenever things like this come up, I always try to think back, like what experience do I have or did I have in elementary school? And usually this is dealing with schools that are K through 12 or K through 6, depending. I just think like, okay, when did someone else's culture in some way predominantly come up? And, being now 45 years old, I'm thinking back a long ways, but I only remember those things really becoming noticeable to me when we were doing projects that dealt with it. Like I remember a couple of times doing family tree projects in school, or I had one time where you had to like talk to your elder about some event or some period of history or something and get what their experience was. Like we had to like, if your grandparents were around, call them up and ask them what they were doing during World War II or something like that.
Yeah.
So like family history, family culture only became prevalent really when there was something that everybody was participating in that brought that up. I don't remember it being that big of a deal. Of course, I think, yeah, go ahead.
I remember culture being very prevalent in my school. Like it wasn't taught, but I went to a school that was very much populated by immigrants that were escaping, because this was in the 90s. So they were escaping Somalia predominantly and Kosovo. So we had a lot of Muslims from Somalia and like the Sudan and everything. And then we had a lot of Serbian and like Ukrainian and Russian people and like Slovak people that were coming in. So like there was a lot of people with like different food at lunch. There was a lot of people, they would kind of group together and if they spoke similar languages or
right, sure,
they would kind of group together outside of class at recess. Like it was very and because of me being the only blind person in school, I noticed that the way different cultures viewed disability, because like there was the Western kids who were like whatever, right? And then there were other kids from different cultures who like blindness was just you're useless. You're just, why are you even at school at this point? You right. Can't see what like. So but it was never like you said, it was never a taught thing. It was
Mhm.
not a teacher is exposing us to culture. It was through
Right.
peers.
Yeah, like world cultures and stuff like that didn't happen until like high school or whatever. You had like a class that was focused on it, but just interacting with other kids, if they decided to bring something up. I mean, and again, I was raised in the 80s when I think was in a way sort of the golden-ish age for people becoming far more. The word tolerant is so weird because like you're putting up with something, but I don't know if there's a better word for it, but just sort of like the shrug era. It's like, well, I'm from this place and that one. Like, okay, just a shrug, like, okay, whatever. And that didn't say anything about who you were. That just, unless you were, taught or otherwise that you're supposed to see people that way. That was sort of what I grew up in. Attack Alpaca, thank you so much. Happy birthday, Scribe. On that note, cake and ice cream or ice cream cake? It really depends on where the ice cream cake is coming from, because it used to be there was a Baskin Robbins like literally across the street from me, and occasionally I'd go over there for a birthday or something and just buy myself a little ice cream cake, and it'd be mint and chocolate chip, because mint and chocolate chip is the ice cream of champions as far as I'm concerned. And but then I've had ice cream cake from other places that the cake was terrible. It really is. You have to have really good ice cream, but you also have to have good cake, not cheap cake. It can't just be that cheap yellow dry stuff. It's got to be like, anyway, it's a gourmet thing.
Do you guys have Dairy Queen in the States?
We do. There's actually one about half a mile from where I am. Yep.
I like Dairy Queen ice cream cake. The Blizzard.
Yeah, I like Dairy Queen generally. The Dairy Queen across from me, down the road from me is I go in there, I always feel a little dirty. Like the place is a little unkempt. Like it's just
God.
Just this side of a greasy spoon almost. Anyway, so being authentic in school and everything else means walking a particular way, food, dress, and so on. Right. But is the focus then to highlight these things to show difference, or just to, see them as part of this individual person, I guess is the question.
Pretty much all aspects of your culture are being celebrated, and you are not hiding behind this guise of professionalism.
Whoa.
Here we go.
Eyes of professionalism. Okay, wait a second. You're okay. Again, this is going into the territory of I'm supposed to acknowledge the adjectives that describe you and not the person that's being surrounded by them. You're okay. If I said, comes from Kosovo, likes soccer, and is a woman, does that tell me anything about the person? No. It doesn't tell me anything about them as an individual. I Formy was on here, and one of his first true crime video was on Israel Keys. I usually say, male, beard, carpenter. Am I talking about Jesus Christ, or am I talking about serial killer Israel Keys? Right. These elements can be applied to anybody. They say nothing about who you are, but celebrating your culture. Like, why should I celebrate your culture? Unless we're going to celebrate everybody's culture, because yours isn't more special than someone else's. Right. And especially the guise of professionalism. Like, and I'm still waiting. Are we talking about students, or are we talking about teachers? Because I'm still a little lost on that one.
Professionalism?
I would say early in our career, especially working at predominantly white institutions, at first, like, you want people to like you. You want to be, especially as a young teacher, you want to be seen as like professional, smart, etc. And a lot.
Well, are you? Well, wait. You were just told us that not to hide behind professionalism. So, are you professional? Are you smart? I don't know.
And wouldn't you want to be smart if you were a teacher?
Or at least be knowledgeable in your subject matter,
right?
Okay, so we're talking about teachers. We're not talking about students. We're talking about educators. Okay, I wasn't sure. I was missing out. Let's start about
like professional, smart, etc. And a lot of times you get the message that that's basically like smartness is equal to whiteness.
Oh God, here we go.
Who gave you that message?
Who you are is really valuable as an educator of color. So like the way you talk, the way you dress, the way you wear your hair, all of that should be something that you're proud of and that you celebrate and that you should bring to your institution.
Wait, were you complaining about that mindset, or were you promoting that mindset?
It sounds like he's complaining that, like, it's like he's saying that to be like smart and professional and well dressed is to be associated with being white, and you
Right.
should celebrate, like, if you have like dreads or something, and or like you just, like, for example, because you said the way you wear your hair, right? If you like you show up to school with dreads, or like I don't know, come dressed in whatever, like it's very weird. It's almost this phenomena that I've noticed about people in like in the Black community that complain that other Black people speak in an like more educated way. They say, why do you speak so white? Why do you talk white?
Right.
And
yeah.
it's very strange to me. Like, it's just, you're speaking the language as if you were educated. Like, that doesn't make you a white person. That makes you an intelligent person. Like, I don't.
Yeah, no, I've seen that before. There was a you just reminded me of way back, and it's on my channel, not to keep shilling my own stuff, but hey, that's why we're here partially. I've got a playlist on there from one of my very first sort of investigative series of videos called I think I called the Temple of Boom or whatever. It was about something called the Boom Experience. That was a special event that originally was posted at a public school district for Black, Latino, and Native American male students.
Okay.
And I saw this, and my first thought was, you can't have a public school event that is set aside just for people on the basis of their race or gender under federal law. That if you're a public institution, you have to have activities that are open to everybody. And so I started this whole thing on that. Anyway, their keynote speaker was a guy named, oh God, what was his name now? I forget. But anyway, I got a clip of him doing a part of his keynote speech at one of those events. And he was talking about his personal history and how he got complaints from his friends when he was younger because he was acting too white by passing his tests and not using the kind of slang or something they did.
Yeah.
And as far as I recall, he was he's Latino, and so he was being shunned by his peers for acting white.
Yeah, and I think that's what this guy's doing. I think he's saying that if you appear intelligent, then that's bad because then you're acting white.
Yeah. Okay. So that's. So it sounded like so emphasize your aesthetics elsewise to prove that you're not what your I don't know, vocabulary says you are. I don't know.
When we come into the classroom as our realest, truest selves, our students can sense that because they can sense inauthenticity at a drop of a hat. And so what we need to do as educators is take on this role for our students and practices in our daily lives, and be intentional about the way in which we integrate it into our instruction, our unit plans, our lessons, every facet of our institutions.
Your role as an educator, not a billboard for your personal lifestyle. This is what I'm talking about with the eroding of professional distance, and especially in education and elsewise, is that you are not the star of the show. Your life and your life experience may inform how you interact with people or how you relay a subject or something, but your role there is to educate the children on the subject matter, not be some kind of, like I say, advertisement for your personal beliefs and ideologies, whether they're religiously based, politically based, socially based, or otherwise. Obviously, it is unavoidable that something about your background or your personal experience isn't going to bleed over into how you express yourself or educate on a subject or something. But just like with journalism, your goal should be objectivity as closely as possible. Yeah. It's never going to be perfect, but you're not there to teach the students about you. You're there to teach the students about the subject matter. And like I say, as soon as you start integrating what you think or what your life is or what your belief systems are into the educational space, that's when I think you're crossing the line of professionalism, which obviously is apparently anathema here.
Like,
but
it feels like these are the same teachers that would discuss their relationships, you know what I mean, with their students.
Yeah, I had that happen a couple times, but that was, well, one time in 4th grade, which was so bizarre and inappropriate that it's still memorable to me today.
Oh God.
I know, seriously, I will not repeat it on the air, because even though it's not explicit per se, it's just this side of it, and it was so bizarre. And then I didn't hear anything like that again until junior college. And at that point, that was, it was a little, everybody in the room was an adult and everything. And the teacher was just venting about something. And somebody had asked her a specific question about how her weekend went and everything, and plans that she talked about earlier. And she mentioned it, and it got like, I still had that mindset of, I've always had that mindset of like, what is the professional territory and what gets into inappropriate territory. She just stepped over the line there, but again, it was less of an issue because everybody there was a grown adult. But the 4th grade one, man, that was just, anyway, I won't dwell on that. But boy, she really crossed the line as far as I'm concerned with a bunch of 9-year-olds. Anyway, sorry, let's keep going here.
So when we start to model it, our students will start to say, hey, I don't have to hide who I truly am. I don't have to talk a certain way. I don't have to dress a certain way. I can be whoever I want to be because I see Ms. Newman or I see Mr. Phillips being true to themselves. So,
okay, I don't know what that means. I need more of an example of what she's talking about. But you look at yourself as a role model. Okay, I mean, when you're in charge, whether you're a parent or you're a teacher, there should be some, I think, idea in your mind that you're there to not only promote the subject matter that you're pushing out, but also set the tone for your classroom and what you expect of your students. And so in that sense, sure, be a role model. But I don't know what she's talking about here, because there's encouraging kids to express themselves and be who they are. But then there's the constraints of, we are in a learning environment that has certain boundaries that need to be adhered to by everybody so that everybody benefits from it. And so when those things clash with one another, that's when you need to set the tone as the adult in the room. So again, we've only got a couple of minutes with this video, but I need some examples to be able to tell whether or not what she's saying makes sense. And remember also, these purportedly, based on the organization, the people we're listening to do not have to adhere to the same strictures as would be a public school, because they're independent schools and presumably do not receive federal funding. So certain laws and boundaries do not necessarily apply to what they participate in.
So I can be that way too.
Okay, a question up on the board that doesn't have any narration. How does the ability to practice authenticity and affect health and well-being? What? How does the ability to practice authenticity affect health and well-being? Okay. Health and well-being. Like what kind of health? Also, Chaos Eve.
Hi. Oh, okay. No, I'm not muted. Hi.
There you go. Yeah, I got to keep checking back and forth on the chance that people pop in. Hello, Chaos Eve. How are you doing?
I'm good. How about you?
Doing all right. Long time no speak.
Right.
It's been a bit. You took a hiatus from streaming for a while there, I think.
Mm-hmm. I've been streaming on Tuesdays and Thursdays with Zelthor and Sam. So
that's right.
Sam IL.
Now, are you still doing YouTube at all?
Yeah, I'm actually streaming to both YouTube and Twitch since Twitch lifted those archaic restrictions.
Yay! So. Multi-streaming.
Right.
Everyone, this is Chaos Eve, another longtime friend on YouTube and otherwise. Check out Chaos Eve on both YouTube and Twitch. Mm-hmm. And so what's new and exciting in your life, Eve?
Not a heck of a lot. I'm no longer truck driving, so back at home. Have a local job now.
Good.
Can't say what it is, unfortunately, because it would be very, very doxy. But
sure, that's fine. As long as it's steady and as long as it covers the bills, nothing.
It pays the bills. Yeah, that's about it.
You got any projects otherwise you're working on that people can look out for?
Unfortunately, currently, no. Like I said, I'm off on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so I end up streaming with Zell and Sam, and lately we've been playing Elden Ring. But other than that, I've not had much time for anything.
Any Souls-like stuff, always like, I get way too stressed out with those things as my adrenaline gets so high and everything. I'm not a very competitive gamer in that way, and so when you got games that are so well, for lack of a better phrase, Twitch savvy that you need to be able to win or progress in those things, it's just kind of like, I tried Dark Souls years ago and I was just, this isn't for me. I suck. I get killed so easily. And I realized it's not the game's fault. It's one of those things where I'm not a Dark Side Phil kind of situation. We're like, oh, this game. And I'm like, no, I understand this is a game of skills that I just either don't possess or don't have the patience to learn.
I'll tell you the secret.
What?
It's a lot easier with 3 people and the enemies are looking at one
Well, yeah. If I was doing many hands make light work, I suppose. But
that's true.
Yeah.
Zell and I have this game we like to play called ping pong, where one of us, whichever one the enemy's facing, the other one walks up and stabs him in the back. And it's
there you go.
So he falls down, gets back up, turns around to face the person who just stabbed him. So the person he was facing comes up and stabs him in the back.
There you go.
Rinse and repeat.
I like that.
It's cheap,
functional,
but,
Yeah. Hey, cheap strategies are good strategies as long as they work.
Exactly.
It doesn't cost too much. But we're looking at 2 educators from an independent school talking about authenticity in the classroom insofar as the teachers, I guess. And we're on the question of how does the ability to practice authenticity affect health and well-being? Well, I mean, it depends on the context of authenticity. If you're constantly lying, I suppose that would take a toll on a person with a conscience.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, how does it affect health and well-being?
It can negatively affect your mental health. So it can make you depressed. It can make you have more anxiety. It can make you have imposter syndrome. So sort of feel like you do not belong at your institution.
Okay, well, here's a question. It's like, again, these things are so short, they don't give you a whole lot of information. When I go to work and I'm in the workplace, am I being my quote-unquote authentic self? Well, it depends on how you look at it. In a professional setting, yes, I'm being me as a professional. Here I come to work, I'm dressed a particular way. There are, certain interactions I would have in a social setting that I'm not going to have in the office. Yeah. So we each have different modes depending on the context of where we are functioning. So I'm not less myself in the workplace. I'm just a version of myself that is there for professional purposes rather than being a socialite. So what is it? And again, this seems to be promoting, I keep talking about it, we're encouraging a deterioration of professional distance. It's like your work life and your personal life are integrated. And the danger of that is you're never off the clock, and companies can take advantage of this.
Have you seen LinkedIn lately?
Oh, LinkedIn is, it's basically Tinder, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
I read a whole ass article about it, and then I've actually been seeing it myself when I've been on LinkedIn looking at job stuff. I'm just like, why are people posting about like coming out or one guy was literally posting about his struggle with his ability to control his bladder at night and how embarrassing it's been. It's like, dude, why are you posting this on a website that's supposed to be about?
Well, no, this is the outgrowth of the whole self to work philosophy that's been pushed for the last 7 some odd years, at least that I've been paying attention to it, where you bring in people and you promote your workplace as, you bring your whole self to work. We want you to be your authentic self and everything else. And by the way, here's an employee resource group just for your specific demographic that you can join, where you can take part in activities that, make you feel included and belonging. And also, by the way, just wear our t-shirt with our logo on it when you go out and do community service work on your own time voluntarily. It's like creating these psychological Hershey towns. You guys know about Hershey, Pennsylvania or whatever?
Oh, yeah, the chocolate factory town, right?
Yeah, the town built around a chocolate factory where everybody that worked at the chocolate factory lived in the town, and your life and your work were integrated into this little society. Yeah. And what these companies have been doing for years now, and I don't understand, You want to talk about setting yourself up for potential lawsuit territory where you get people that feel way too cozy with one another in the workplace, and maybe boundaries start going away as to what's personal and not. I don't know. It just seems ridiculous to me. But at the same time, when you get someone to join your company that feels like their personal lives and their work lives can function concurrently with one another and then integrate, you have a walking advertisement for your company 24/7. And so LinkedIn becoming this anything goes, my life is totally on display here. That this to me is just, again, and I'm harping on this for years, the destruction of professional distance, which is not healthy in my opinion.
It feels like they've forgotten about and Freud had some horrible ideas, but he also had some good ones. Freud and Jung, the concept of the three selves, right? The id, the ego, and the superego. It's like we've all it's like society has kind of lost the idea of, it's okay to have like different aspects of yourself for different situations. It's like you must be your whole genuine self all the time. It's like, no, that's not healthy for you. It's not healthy for the people around you. Like sometimes you have to filter yourself.
We are all, yeah. We're sorry.
It's filtering yourself is not necessarily like a censorship thing. It's reading
it's a
the
relevance
room
thing. It's a thing of like, okay, let's say I work at a retail store, right? And I'm there to sell you whatever product this company is selling. You don't need to care about my gender, race, sexuality, nothing like that.
No.
None of that should be mattering. It's about, I have a product you want. You have this money to give me. I take the money, give you the product. We do this transaction. Maybe I upsell you a little bit, but none of those other things should factor into that interaction, because it's a transaction based on one thing, right? Like, I don't understand why people feel it has to matter in the workplace what color your skin is or what your gender or sexuality is.
Well, we are all of us Swiss Army knives. We have different blades for different tasks, and sometimes they're needed and sometimes they're not.
Sure.
But they're all part of who we are because we're expressing ourselves for the purpose that we find ourselves in. I mean, somebody acting. I had this happen once. You ever see somebody who's just quote unquote just normal person walking down the street, and all of a sudden an emergency happens, and it's like a switch flips, and suddenly they are on it. They know what they have to do. Everything else, they are basically a machine doing a function until the emergency has passed, and then they're back in their normal mode. Yep. Right? We all have a toolbox, and sometimes that's a bad. Not necessarily. Okay, let's go back from the toolbox thing. That's slang for other things. Yeah. Again, we all have different blades within our Swiss Army knife, depending on the. Okay, I'm stretching out the analogy too more. Let's keep going. Okay, next question. How can educators of color draw inspiration from culturally authentic role models? Culturally authentic. Okay, this is another thing. Skin color does not define culture.
No.
I always love this when somebody says, "Oh, there is no culture for white people or something, or there is a culture for this color or that color." Like, no, that's not. It's a black person born and raised in the United States is not going to have the same culture as a black person born and raised in Jamaica. And you put them in the same room together, you can't look at them both without any other information and say what their culture is. It's nonsense.
Well, it's true. And even that, it's like they think all black people have the same culture. Like, it goes from different countries in Africa. These are the same people who think Africa is all one country too. Okay, I swear to God.
Yeah, and can I have two different role models from the same culture that look completely different? Can't I admire things about Martin Luther King Jr. and also, I don't know, Abraham Lincoln? To do different eras, different appearances, different values depending on the circumstances, and yet they're still from the same culture because my culture is derived from the Constitution. I always look at it that way. As far as American culture is concerned, our values and where we derive our philosophy from and everything else starts first and foremost with the Constitution. That sets the culture of America. Anybody who has existed within that system and has done good things and is someone I admire, is a role model for me as far as American culture. But we're not talking about nationality or anything. We're talking about associating now skin color with culture, which I always, let's see what they have to say.
One of our role models is Beyonce.
Beyonce? He's gay.
Really? Well, okay, why? Okay, no,
well,
all right.
First of all, the way he speaks. Second of all, just he's the way that he's already spoken about, like the way he focused on the aesthetics, like the way you wear your hair, the way you dress. The woman hasn't done that.
Well,
he talked about the way you walk. He talked about the way you look. He's got just the way of speaking, and now he's like, my role model is Beyonce.
I couldn't care. I couldn't care less about his personal life. I want to hear why Beyonce is a role model. How is Beyonce a role model to you?
We see Beyonce as a culturally authentic role model because at one point in her career, she was like the single ladies Beyonce. She was very mainstream, like selling a lot of records.
She's always been selling a lot of records. So are you going to say that because she's evolved her look and style and dipped into different other genres of music over time, that makes her authentic rather than just somebody who's constantly trying to rebrand and remarket themselves? Because I mean, yeah.
Also, when she did the Single Ladies song, her and Jay-Z were dating. They weren't like married or anything. They weren't a couple, but they were still seeing each other. It was the beginning of their relationship. So
you know more about the Beyonce biography than I do.
The whole Single Ladies thing, she wasn't even single.
Wait. Is Beyonce a role model of yours, Blind Press?
No, I just happened to be around people that listen to a lot of Beyonce.
Oh, okay. So it's osmosis.
Yeah. And I will admit I was a Destiny's Child fan. So
I don't know if that's
it's okay. No one's perfect.
I was a teenager. I didn't know any better.
That's it's a reason, if not an excuse. Okay.
Selling a lot of records, and people almost forgot that Beyonce was a Black woman. Like her race was not really relevant to who she was as a pop star.
At what point did anyone forget Beyonce was Black? Please tell me.
Being a Black woman, part of her. She was the big, beautiful Black woman.
Okay. Well, all right. Okay, so is his message then that race is irrelevant then? Because if he's trying to push that, then maybe I'm on his side.
And then when events such as the killing of Trayvon Martin,
oh no,
Michael Brown, and
Michael. You want to talk a little bit more about what led up to Michael Brown again?
Then the rise of the Black Lives Matter movement. Beyonce decided to sort of take a risk and start to really sell and promote her race and
a risk. That was a surefire win. What are you talking about, risk?
And it also, she had been promoting her Blackness for years, because before she went with the Black Lives Matter shtick, she was going with the soulful Southern Black woman shtick.
Yeah.
So her skin color has always been part of her brand.
What, and besides risk, I mean, if at some point she put out an album that didn't sell for some reason, she'd still be a billionaire. What risk? Yep. What are you talking about?
Her Blackness.
Anybody can be a culturally authentic role model as long as they are celebrating their cultural authenticity and they are celebrating their culture.
Okay, well, again, what do you mean by culture? Because it seems like you're associating skin color with culture, and that's not a definitive.
And they're also investigating and challenging the systems that currently stand, like white supremacy.
White supremacy. That's why Beyonce is a billionaire
in
America.
That's why Beyonce is a billionaire and Barack Obama was a president for 2 terms.
I'm going to point something out too, is that she's wearing a hijab, right?
Yes.
All right.
I would assume that she follows a Muslim faith, right?
Well, again, I don't know because I'm ignorant of these things. Is that actually hijab, or is that what the? Isn't there a different?
There's niqab, hijab, and then the kafia scarf, and then.
Yeah, was there a niqab? There's something called niqab.
Niqab is the face thing. Hijab.
Okay, all right.
The whole head to toe is the hijab.
Right. She's just wearing the headscarf. She doesn't have like
okay, so she's got a niqab on.
Niqab, that's what it was. Okay, yeah.
But it still denotes a Muslim faith.
Conceivably, yes.
Okay, so culturally speaking, she's going to be different from her friend sitting next to her, who we've already diagnosed as gay. Like, they don't mesh well culturally because he's a homosexual and her religion tosses homosexuals off of rooftops. So maybe they don't personally think those things, but culturally there are some major differences there. And when she says culture, she's speaking from a completely different perspective. They're not they're not homogenous there. Like,
no,
she's speaking, but she's speaking as though like Black people as a whole, as a culture, are one thing, and it's not the case.
Well, yeah, that's when you start monolithing people on the basis of demographic, you're missing the point. And that's whenever I hear somebody talking about expressing your culture, and then in that same sentence they mention skin color or something else, it's like these things are not one to the other. It's not just, like I say, a white guy in Texas versus a white guy in Poland. These are not people who are going to have exact same cultural values or perspectives if you put them in a room together. It just doesn't mean anything. But okay, anyway, she was let me back up a little bit.
Challenging the systems that currently stand, like white supremacy, that tell them that they are not good enough, that history has proven that them being their truest selves is not acceptable in our circles. So really be
okay, well, and yet, okay, if you're going back 400 years ago, then sure, legally, culturally, and everything else, things were very, very different. That's not how things are now, and certainly not to the extent that they used to be. Everyone wants to call back to like the 1870s or something, or even relatively short ago, but still a drastic difference, like the 1950s. Give me an example. What are you talking about? How does this relate to the classroom? What does this have to do with you? Like, I mean, it's entirely possible. Did they have some experiences as teachers in other schools or something where they were discriminated against or something happened or whatever else? I know it's only a couple minutes long, but I really wish they'd give us something to, dig our teeth into.
Not acceptable in our circles. So really, Beyonce was just a vehicle for us, but it can be anyone. And that's the beauty about cultural authenticity. This framework is that it can be applied across a multitude of different cultures, races, countries, etc. And Beyonce.
Then why did you bring up Beyonce? Of all the people, why did all you did was associate her with her race? You didn't talk about her talent. You just talked about her race and relating to political activism effectively. So, I don't know.
Across a multitude of different cultures, races, countries, etc. And Beyonce was just an obvious choice for us.
Obvious. Okay, next question. How can educators of color, what's the skin color have to do with it? How can educators of color draw inspiration from culturally authentic role models? Wasn't that just the question?
Pretty much. It's the same question, just reworded.
352. Hold on. What was the previous? Hold on. Do what? Hold on. Because the last question, I think yeah, that's the exact same question as the last time. Did you guys mix up your cards or something?
Maybe.
Like literally, it's the same question. Okay, 352. How do you answer the same question a second time? That's just either bad editing or, well, that's bad editing.
Maybe create a student of color affinity group. So
affinity groups.
Oh my God. No, not an affinity group.
Okay, so you set up a racially segregated group in your classroom or school, huh? Okay. I mean, sure. Well, again, you're an independent school, not a federally funded school, presumably. So I guess, Title VI really doesn't apply, but that whole Brown v. Board of Education.
So a space just for students of color to congregate and to be together. It provides an atmosphere where you can really be yourself, and you can also find other people like you.
Yeah, like you, presumably aesthetically, and stay away from those bad influence of white kids.
Stay away from those white kids that are nothing like you because they're
white. Oh my gosh. Yeah, everything up to this point was questionable depending on context or example, but now we've got, racial affinity groups in schools, guys. It's great.
Oh my God.
And you can know that like your culture, who you are, how you talk, what you look like is like you're not the only one, and it could be a safe place where you can celebrate it.
Again, hate to tell you this, who you are is irrelevant. You just whittled it down to skin color. Doesn't matter who, it matters the what. You just made sure of that with affinity groups. Come on.
And I think that it's also important that administrators take a huge role in modeling cultural authenticity for our students.
Oh, how shall they do that?
When students see adults in the upper echelons of administration, and they recognize that you can reach the highest level of status within an institution.
Oh, so you're talking about the administrators of schools need to look a particular way to convince the students that they too can achieve such heights based purely on the aesthetic of the administrator. Oh, okay. Because if it was somebody else, they couldn't find value in an individual based on their personal merits or characteristics. No, they have to be able to acknowledge the surface level of an individual. Otherwise, they think that such things aren't possible for themselves. And of course, they have to then internalize that same notion back to themselves. Like, oh, well, if I look a particular way, then my role should be X, Y, Z. Okay. Well, what about the kids that don't look like an administrator, regardless of what the administrator looks like? What do those kids do? How do you account for the kids that just happen to not look like the administrators?
Those are the bad influence kids.
I guess so. Or they'll never achieve anything because they can't see themselves in their superiors or something.
Yep. And you can still be yourselves. That is also really powerful, but also making sure to implement policies that explicitly name that we want people who are culturally authentic.
Wait. You want people who are culturally authentic. What does that mean? The only way I can interpret that is that you are stereotypically your race or something.
That's what I'm picturing. Like teachers coming in speaking like horribly like slangy ebonics and like what the fuck? Like why do you need to be so like just be you?
Well, we're not talking. Well, we're talking about like some kind of conformity authenticity. We're not talking about like your personal authenticity or something.
And so that's extremely important.
Is it important? Okay, and that's the end of it. Okay, well, in the absence of any other, examples or context or anything, there you go. The National Association of Independent Schools, everybody. Just one sample. I've done several videos on their promotional stuff in the past on my channel.
That's private schools, right?
Independently funded schools. So schools that don't take federal funding, because if you take federal funding in the United States under Title VI of the Civil Rights Act, amongst some other laws, you are bound in the activities. You're bound to keep your activities and programs open to everybody, regardless of their race, gender, religion, and so on. If you're an independent school and you're not taking federal funds, you're not tied to Title VI. You may be tied to state laws, depending. But as far as federal laws are concerned, you have some further freedoms. Eve, I think you're muted.
I am. I was just making background noise. And
Oh, okay. I saw the thing moving around. I thought you were talking and I couldn't hear you. Okay.
That's because I'm technically using Discord right now to make the little animated avatar. So Discord's lighting up when I do it. I'm not muted on Discord.
See, I have Discord, but I don't use it for my streams. Not yet, anyway. I don't know if is there an advantage to using Discord for streaming in that way?
I won't, like, considering I do a lot of game streaming, I find it lighter weight in the background.
Okay.
I've also got a third-party add-on thing that does this, so makes a little avatar that lights up and winks at you when I talk.
Speaking of Discord, I put the link to my Discord in the chat for anybody who's not already a member and wants to be. You just have to click on that. You'll find yourself on the landing channel called Say Hello. And in addition to saying hello, you just have to say the secret word. The secret word will tell me that you're not a bot and have actually watched the show, and this can join the Discord server. And today's secret word is cake. Just say hello, cake, and I'll know that you're watching the show. So there you go. There's a little blast from the past, the National Association of Independent Schools. Haven't done one of those in a long time. Let's see. What else do we got? So yeah, I got a 20-minute long TEDx. Now I'm debating about using it. Say, if I was doing a stream today, I was debating about doing a TEDx tomorrow because I thought, should I just take a break this week or should I do a TEDx tomorrow? Should I just keep this stream sort of its own thing? So do I save it for tomorrow or do I do it today? I don't know. It's a very weighty topic, but it's also relatively long. A blueprint for racial healing.
Oh God.
I don't even know what that means. Do I have like a short TEDx that I can pull up here? Something that
sounds like an episode all to itself.
Yeah, really. And it's 21 minutes long. And knowing my pause rate and no offense to my guests, with 3 people chiming in, it'd probably take forever. Let's see. Do I have a short? Let's say that's a 5-minute one. That's a 7-minute one. Saving police and restoring community trust with emotional intelligence. 7 minutes. You guys care about policing or emotional intelligence?
Emotional intelligence. That sounds like I get what they're trying to say, but it sounds kind of jargony.
I have another one that I grab, but I'm not sure I wanted, because it's a TEDx at a high school, and usually when it's at a high school, it's usually a bunch of teenagers, and I try to not do a TEDx, but it's not branded as a TEDx youth thing, but the title just grabbed my mind. The title is "I Do Look Autistic."
Okay.
And my brain just went, what? I don't know what that means. I'm not sure I want to know what that means.
Yeah, that sounds weird. What I do look autistic. How do you look autistic? Like, do you flap your arms? Do you like spin around in circles?
I don't know. I'll still do a TEDx. I'll tell you what. I'll save the TEDx for tomorrow. That'll be an epic TEDx. I'll get a 20-minute TEDx. But well, gosh, what shall we do now for my birthday?
Oh, here's something you might find interesting as a true crime buff.
Ooh, tell me.
So the Canadian justice system has lost its goddamn mind.
Okay.
And has not only transferred Paul Bernardo to a minimum security prison, they've also just transferred Luca Magnotta to the same prison as Paul Bernardo is now in.
Okay.
The same minimum security prison. And Robert Pickton is eligible for day parole.
Oh, see, now I know all these characters. So you got Paul Bernardo, who's the Ken and Barbie, the Ken of the Ken and Barbie murders back in where Carla Homolka or whatever. She's already free. She's already free around because the cops didn't find the videotapes in time to figure out what she was doing with all that. And
they made a plea deal with her.
Yeah, I made a plea deal with her before they had all the information. And so I'm not going to go into full details because you guys can find plenty of documentaries on this. And then he said Robert Pickton, who was the pig farmer. I've got a book on him somewhere around here that's like the giant like entire case of him that I never really got all the way through because it is a big book.
Yeah.
And then Luca Magnotta, oh boy, I mean, besides this is the guy who was hunted down originally because he filmed himself, let's just saying, being unkind to kitty cats on the internet. There's an entire Netflix documentary called "Don't F with Cats" or something to that effect that talks about.
So what you're saying is he should be under the jail.
Well, yeah,
very much so.
For that, but also what he eventually did to his roommate, friend, partner, whatever the heck that guy's. It wasn't like an online date or something.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, it's a very grisly, terrible story. But those are all like, if you want to talk about like modern Canadian supervillains, those three are probably pretty high up there, especially Pickton, because I still think I'm pretty sure they're still not sure how many victims he actually had on his farm.
He was only convicted of like 6.
Yeah,
murders,
but he was operating for decades.
Yeah, and he confessed to like 48.
Yeah,
they couldn't get him for all 48. They got him for 6.
Yeah, because all the evidence was digested. Yeah, but anyway.
And then he sold the pigs that ate he sold the pork.
Right. So some people out there were getting pork that had been fed with long pig, which is anyway. Well, gosh, that's great. Minimum security, for those guys. That's wonderful. I'm sure nothing could potentially go wrong there.
Oh yeah, and all the Canadian public is just super thrilled, and the federal government's just like, what do you mean? This is nothing. It's everything's fine. Corrections Canada, runs itself. We have nothing to do with that. And everyone's like, bullshit, you don't. What are you talking about?
There's I'm probably misquoting it, and I couldn't tell you who it came from, but there's something that said to the effect of a society is measured by how it treats its worst offenders.
Yep.
And so if you celebrate or you somehow minimize the worst acts amongst the populace, that tells you about the moral center of a society.
Windows are open.
Yay!
Hello, Scribbles.
There's a Pincalo.
Hello, Pincalo. Thank you, Pincalo. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Yay, windows are open. Let's see. What do we got going on in the chat? Advocate says, play Pin the Tail on the Scribe. Yeah, I didn't have any birthday games set up. I probably should have. This is all put together.
Birthday games.
I'm sure there's a way to like put up some kind of like game in the window. I could like a Wheel of Fortune or something. This was I had planned, such as it was, to spend more time this morning putting things together for this show, save for the fact that I woke up with a migraine. So I was basically debilitated. Plus I had to do work and other things. So I got kind of hamstrung before I got a chance to start this morning. So unfortunately, this is all sort of catch as catch can. Oh, Kiever Dam reminds me, because of course my brain was off, Mad Libs. You guys want to do a Mad Lib?
Ooh, sure. Those are always fun.
Let's do a Mad Lib. And if nothing else comes up, I can carry this over into tomorrow's TEDx as well. Let's see. Let's see if I can find my old Mad Lib source, because I used to use a particular there it is. Okay, let's see. We have new ones on here. Okay, let's see. How about this one? Oh, I need something with more than 4 words in it. Come on, it's got to be something else. Oh, there we go. Okay, so here's how this is going to work, everybody. I'm going to set aside 3 words at the end just for you in the chat. Okay, so I will get to you as I come to them, but here's what you need to do. So in the chat, you need to put like what the kind of word is I'm going to be asking for. It's like if I say I need a noun from you, you need to say noun, colon, and then your suggestion, just so I can track them with my eyeballs when I get to it. And you can suggest more than 1 word if you like, but I'm only going to pick 1 potential choice from it, 1 individual each. So here you go. This is what I'll need by the end of this. I need a verb, an adverb, and the name of a person in the room. So that goes for both in the chat and or on screen. Okay, so I need a verb, an adverb, and a name of person in the room. And so start putting your entries into that now if you'd like, and I'll scroll up when I get to it. But first we'll go to Blind Press. Blind Press, I need a name of a person in the room.
Chaos Eve.
Okay. All right. There we go. Chaos Eve. All right. Chaos Eve, I need a noun.
Dog.
Dog. All right. Blind, I need a superlative ending in EST.
Slimiest.
Ew. Okay. Chaos Eve, I need another noun.
Peanut.
Peanut. Also, real quick, I have another celebrity in the chat. It's Just Interrogations. It's Justin. Gyrating salaciously. Okay, I'll keep those in mind when we get to them. But Just Interrogations, everybody. Just Interrogations is another true crime content creator here on YouTube. Interviewed him at least once and had him as a co-pilot on a different interview. So check out Just Interrogations on YouTube for true crime content regarding interrogations. It's also he's unfortunately had his stuff stolen by other nefarious true crime channels before. That's something you have to spot. I've spotted myself a couple of times. I've notified some true crime channels that I haven't even spoken to before. I just there was one where they were doing a video on Sarah Boone, the suitcase killer. And this one channel had done this really great picture-in-picture setup where in the interrogation footage, when they show Sarah Boone video from her own cell phone where she filmed the guy suffocating in the suitcase, they actually found the video from her cell phone and put it up and time synced it to her watching it in the interrogation footage. And it was this great little setup. And it was so unique that it stuck with me. And then about a month or two later, some other channel was talking about the case. And I saw that same setup, like, wait a second. I've seen that before. Where did I see it? I had to go searching for the other channel. I think it was AO or something, True Crime or Aura True Crime or something. It's been a while. Anyway, I emailed those guys. I've never spoken to them before. I've contacted many true crime people in the past for my interviews and things. And I was like, hey, just so you know, this channel's stealing your stuff. And they're like, thanks for the heads up. And then like within an hour or something, that video got spiked, thankfully.
Oh, good.
But yeah, it is a problem on YouTube. A lot of AI channels and things will just sample other people's work and put it up as their own. And it's really hard to police because some of those channels, you just never hear of them before, and they get a whole bunch of views and stuff and ad revenue before you have a chance to even catch them. And it's anyway. All right.
Pain in the ass to report. If you're just a viewer, you have to actually be the person who owns the content report.
Right. Yeah. The most you can do is try to alert the channel that you can, if you can. And this is the thing. I watched so many true crime channels. It took me like a couple hours to try to remember what channel did I see where they did that, because it was such a unique setup and I'd seen it nowhere else. It had to have been something they did themselves.
Yeah.
And that made it but fortunately my memory eventually won out, but it's a tough one. Anyway, blind press, I need a body part.
Ooh, eyeball.
Oh, well, gosh. I wonder where you came up with that one. Chaos Eve, I need a verb ending in ing.
Dancing.
Dancing. All right. Blind, I need a noun. It's your turn for a noun.
Umbrella.
Under my umbrella, Ella, A. I'm sorry. Eve, I need a verb. So it's plain old verb.
Punch.
Oh, okay. No, very fine. Blind, I need an event.
Christmas.
Sounds good. Okay. Eve, I need a day of the week.
Let's go with Wednesday.
Sounds good, since today is Wednesday. Blind, I need a verb.
Swing.
Swing. Eve, I need a verb.
Jump.
Okay. Blind, I need a place.
The moon.
The moon, my home. And lastly, Eve, I need a time span.
Like
however
a
you
number of hours, I guess.
So it's like several hours.
Yeah, let's go with several hours because I'm not sure I understand that question.
I guess we'll see what it looks like in context. Okay, now we go to the chat for verb. What do we have for verb? Let's see. Scrolling up a bit. Scroll. And where's the verbs? I kind of like that one. We'll go for this. Advocates Diablo says bloviate.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's a nice fancy word.
I don't even know what that means. It's so fancy.
Basically means you won't stop talking.
Yep, and just a very, very vocal individual. Let's see. Next, we need an adverb. Scrolling up a bit, make sure I didn't miss something. Let's see. Well, you know what? I'll play favorites a little bit here. Just interrogations gave gyrating or sagaciously. I'll go for gyrating. Oh, sorry, sagaciously. Sorry, adverb sagaciously. Sorry. Sagaciously. Pardon me. And then lastly, name of person in the room. Who do we have? Person in the room. Well, I already got one from Advocatus. So person in the room. Well, if I have to pick, then I'll pick Miranda Stone, because Miranda Stone will probably be blushing as a result. So there we go. All right, so here we go, guys. Here comes our Mad Lib. Let me share it here. 1 second, if you'll pardon me. Ad lib, Mad Lib. All right, here we go. This is called Love Letter Number 3.
Oh, God.
Let me zoom in on this a little bit. All right, dear Chaos Eve, it has come to my dog that you are the slimiest girl in the peanut. My eyeball starts dancing an umbrella every time you speak. I would like to punch if you want to go to the Christmas with me next Wednesday. If you swing, please jump me at the moon in several hours. I'm going to go over that one again, just for those are the cheap seats. If you swing, please jump me at the moon in several hours. I bloviate you and everything about you. Sagaciously, Miranda Stone. That is
you swing just works so well.
Yeah, if you swing, just jump me. Please jump me. That works far too well. And then sagaciously Miranda Stone. That works out really well both for the letter and for Miranda Stone.
That was amazing.
That works really good though.
My
All right,
eyeball starts dancing an umbrella.
Yeah, dancing an umbrella. Oh man, I forgot about Mad Libs. I really should do more of these. Let's see. Let's do one more. Oh, sorry.
I'll say sure. I'll go to the Christmas with you next Wednesday, Miranda.
Sure. If you swing.
If you swing.
Okay. Let's do one more, and then I think I'll start wrapping up because I think my voice is starting to go a little sideways, and unfortunately, the migraine is not fading as much as I had hoped.
Oh no.
So just one of those things. All right, so let's do this one. All right, so chat, I'm going to give you the first 3 on the list, and I'll jump down for my guests. I need an adjective and technically 2 different nouns, but if you guys give different nouns, I'll have 2 different nouns to choose from. So I need an adjective and a noun. So give me an adjective and a noun, and I will get back to you shortly. Please be sure to label those so I can catch them on the list. All right, so Eve, we'll start with you this time. I need a body part plural.
Noses.
Oh, okay, sure. Blind, I need a verb.
Run.
Okay. Eve, I need a verb.
Drive.
Blind, I need another verb.
Let's see. Sing.
Eve, I need an adjective.
Loquacious.
Oh my.
Loquacious. Wow. Okay. Oh, somebody's showing off their vocabulary. All right then. Blind, I need a noun.
Let's see. Park.
Okay. Eve, I need a verb ending in ed, and that's not erectile dysfunction.
Verb ending in ed. Stabbed.
Jeez. Well, last time it was punched, so sure, why not?
I don't know.
Okay. Blind, I need a number. Any number.
35.
35. Eve, I need a noun.
Tree.
Okay. Blind, I need a noun plural.
Cats.
Okay. Eve, I need an adjective.
No, that won't work. Smooth.
Okay. Blind, I also need an adjective.
Ferocious.
Ooh. All right. Okay. Eve, I need a place.
Timbuktu.
Oh, there you go. Let's see how my spelling is on that. Hey, it works. Okay. Here you go, Blind. I need a funny word.
Ooh, sproing.
Sproing.
The sound the doorstop makes.
Yeah, no, I get it. All right. And then these last two should be fairly easy for both of you. Eve, I just need a letter.
E.
Okay. And Blind, I need a letter.
H.
Okay. All right. So back to the top. I need an adjective and a noun from the chat. Chat, what do we got for adjectives? Let's see. Scrolling here. Oh, I jumped. Chat jumped. Pardon me. 1 second. There we go. Okay. Adjectives from Advocata. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. I guess that's technically, but I don't know. Let's see. Or cattywampus. I like that one better. I'll go for that one. Cattywampus.
Ooh, cattywampus. I like that.
Okay. And then nouns. I need nouns. Let's see. Bold sign says mask. Okay, I'll take a mask. And then lastly, another noun. Keeverdam says bidet. Sure. Why not? It is a person, a place, or a thing. Okay, so we're at the end there. Now, let me present that to the show. And we'll see what we get. This is called History of Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh,
God.
no.
Oh,
And
God.
before we do that, pardon me, 1 second here, 1 second. Mr. Tickletrunk, thank you so much, Mr. Tickletrunk. It's very generous of you for the happy birthday emojis. Thank you, Mr. Tickletrunk. Appreciate it. Very generous of you. Canadian, a fellow Canadian to Blind Press. Thank you so much. Hope you're having a good day. Hope you enjoy our closing Mad Lib. Here we go. History of Sonic the Hedgehog. It's 1990, and Sega isn't making very cattywampus games. Well, I guess that's probably a good thing. Nintendo's mascot, Mario, is making more and more games that are way better than any of Sega's. Then Sega had a mask. What they needed is a Mario of their own. They had the bidet of making a rabbit that can stretch his noses out and run things. Okay, that plan didn't go so well. They needed an animal that can drive itself and sing enemies by doing only a spin. Sure. They noticed that hedgehogs have quills that drive and sing, so they went with Hedgehog. Since he was planned to be a rabbit, they programmed him to run at a loquacious speed. Then, in 1991, Sonic the Hedgehog was released for the Sega Park. In the first year, it outstabbed Mario by 35 copies.
Go, Sonic!
Sonic was then known as Sega's Tree. Over the years, Sonic has taken on many cats. In 1998, he took on a smooth style in the game Sonic Adventure. Today, Mario and Sonic are still ferocious rivals, so that works pretty well.
It does.
Also, in winter 2007, Mario and Sonic will compete in the 2008 Timbuktu Olympics in Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games for the Nintendo Sproing and Nintendo EH.
You know,
works.
what's funny is the Nintendo Sproing sounds like something they would actually name
That-
the system.
It does. It really
does.
does.
That sounds like the ancestor of the Power Pad,
Yeah. Yes.
the Sproing or something.
The
Like it's like
Sproing.
thank you again, Mr. Tickletrunk, for the happy, lovely, dancy Dogcat Fox. Oh, Dogcat Fox.
Wowie, wow.
That was a P-Dog Night Dogcat Fox. Thank you so much,
was.
Mr. Tickletrunk. I don't think I have Dogcat Foxes from you two.
No, we don't.
I need to get I got one from Pat the other day. I don't have one from. So if you guys have a moment at some time in the near future to record a couple options of like the Wowie Wows can go all over the place. They can be like what P-Dog did. They can be something like
Wowie wow.
Or they can be completely goofy like this.
Wowie wow.
So yeah, if you want to give me a couple of Wowie Wows and either email them to me or zap them to me on Discord, I'll integrate them into my panel of stingers.
I like that.
Speaking of stingers, I like I said, on the prospect of having a couple of specific people show up today, I only had a few minutes before the show. I made some stingers just for them. So on the off chance they ever show up again in the future, or just to show off now, here's the Sinatra Says stinger. There you go. There's a Sinatra Says.
Appropriate.
And I also made up one for Irate Alex, just because I love him. There you go. You have Sinatra Says as John Wick and Irate Alex as James Bond.
Yes.
There you go. So, well, everybody, I apologize for my migraine and other such circumstances, but I think I'm going to start wrapping things up here. First and foremost, again, please check out Chaos Eve, Blind Press, Gary Kissel, Gary Kissel on Pop Culture Minefield, Tom Connors over on Midnight's Edge, and also in human form. I got messages from Ranting Monkey and Sinatra Says and Tailed Feature that they weren't able to make it, and I appreciate them being out there and being my friends and all. Let's see what else before I forget anything. Oh yeah, Thursday night, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, I'll be doing another episode of TED Excellence, where the pre-chosen TEDx, unless something else far more eye-catching shows up, will be a blueprint for racial healing. Not quite sure what that means, but I guess we'll find out tomorrow at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern here on the channel. And since you two are the last ones in the house before we go, Blind Press, what you got coming up in the near future that people can check you out for?
So I will be streaming tonight on Twitch for Mortal Kombat 1. I stream twice a day. I do YouTube and Twitch in the mornings at 11 a.m. Eastern. That's the coffee stream. And I'm over on Twitch and the Tiki Talk on at 9 p.m. Eastern for Mortal Kombat. So it's Blind Press, both YouTube and Twitch, if you want to look me up. I'm also really pushing my Streamlabs link right now because our water heater died. So,
oh no.
Yeah. So what I do for donations is I do jumping jacks. So if you want to come by my stream and make me exercise via streamlabs.com/blindpress, that would be greatly appreciated because we would like hot water back, please.
That would be good. Yeah. And if you put that, if you can DM that to me, I'll try to include that in my donation pin tomorrow on the TEDx show.
Oh, cool. Thanks. I'll throw that to you after the stream.
Okay. And Eve, what you got coming up?
Tomorrow night, I'll be playing Elden Ring with Zelthor and my good friend Zelthor and my good friend Samael. They're both doing really great. They've been doing a lot of streaming lately themselves, and yeah, I'm real proud of them. They've been growing as gaming channels, and they got me back into it again after a long hiatus. So while I'm not currently doing it quite to the degree I was before, I am still participating somewhat and have plans to expand things in the future. So, but yeah, tomorrow night, every Tuesday and Thursday night, around 9 p.m. Central. Yeah, 9 p.m. Central, which would be 10 p.m. Eastern. We'll be doing that over there. And otherwise, you can find me on Twitter, probably replying to this guy here, you know.
Sure. Let's see in the chat real quick. Miranda Stone has put up, oh, what? At the last second, Script Doctor.
Hey, sorry I was late. I was stuck in a meeting, but wanted to wish you a happy birthday, Scribe.
Oh, thank you so much. Script Doctor. Everybody, if you don't know about Script Doctor is a professional script writer for Hollywood and TV and elsewise. Also a Canadian. So Blind Press, a neighbor of yours. Yay, Canadian.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, fellow Canuck, as my dad would say.
How's it going,
How's it going, well, we just did a couple rounds of Mad Libs. We watched a little video on teachers and stuff. We had Jerry Cassell and Tom Connors on here, and my friend in human form, talking for a bit, birthday stuff and talking about different things and different subjects. So what's new with you, Script Doctor?
Getting stuff sorted out. Completed one contract this week. Applied for another contract. Hopefully I'll hear back from them in another week or so to keep things active. And yeah, doing a lot of writing and doing reading and getting stuff prepped for my weekly show that I do. So yeah, it's been busy and fun and helpful. And yeah, thank you for asking.
Yeah. And for those of you that know that, like, weekly, Script Doctor now takes a look at least as I understand it, they're unproduced scripts and goes over them and analyzes them for content and quality. When you were originally doing a call out for co-pilots on that, I came just this close to volunteering, but I was like, I don't know if I can make that commitment every week. And now I'm kind of regretting it because I think it would have been really fun to go over stuff, because I am an English major and I can occasionally edit things, but maybe I can pop on for a guest spot at some point.
I'm willing to be flexible because I've got around 13 co-hosts and we rotate around.
Oh, okay.
To try and look for like someone that's the more stable one. But everybody thought that they were stable the first half of the year. And now they're like, well, things are picking up. I'm like, well, that's good for you. And that's great. That's why I asked so many people to volunteer. So yeah, I'm always sure I can work some in and some extra guests and stuff. I have no problem with it. I love doing the show. It's showing people who are interested in pop culture and like the Hollywood industry, as it were, how there are still good writers pitching scripts like today. And these are scripts that are being pitched as we're discussing them. And we're sharing it with you that, yes, they're not just existing IPs and derivatives and remakes and whatnot. There's actually people coming up with inventive, cool stories and scripts for production, or at least to show the world that they can write. And they're out there. And if we can, with my little show, if we can gather a little bit of support vocally for those types of people, maybe that will steer the industry back into what it was prior to the tragedy of 2016.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. And what's the name of the show again?
Scripts on Saturdays.
Scripts on Saturdays. So check out Script Doctor, Scripts on Saturdays on YouTube. And yeah, I'll touch base with you, see if I can work my way into your rotation at some point. Also, I've been meaning to have you on for a TEDx at some point when schedules align.
I might be available next week.
Ooh, okay. Well, I'll keep in touch.
This week, and I applied for one. I don't think I'm going to hear back for another week or so. So I've got some time. So please take advantage of me.
Oh, well, now that opens the door to many possibilities. Some may believe to be unnatural. So I have one set aside I've been saving for you with. It's Ava DuVernay talking about the filmmaking process. And I was this would be perfect to talk to Script Doctor about. So I'll touch base with you offline. Before we really wrap things up, though, sorry. Guy in his room. So I got Miranda Stone being everybody's publicist, and I appreciate that. Guy in his room has interviewed me a couple of times on his channel. Link to his channel is in the chat there and on the screen. Keever Dam says upcoming AAA stream. AAA being the show that Sinatra Says, Drunken Uncle, and Polydub do three times a week, I think now. Yeah. And so that's coming up at I think it's in the next few minutes, actually 2:30 or 4:30 my time, I forget. Anyway, in the near future, AAA stream, the alcohol, ammo, and ammunition stream. Check out that for all the latest news and such. What else we got? We got Chaos Eve with her links in the chat there for Twitch and YouTube.
Oh, and crap. I need to put mine somewhere.
Yeah, sure. And Just Interrogations is going to have his first new video in 8 months. He's been working on his true crime stuff in 8 months, and so he's got a premiere coming up on Saturday. So the link to that, I believe, is what Miranda Stone has provided there. Otherwise, check out Just Interrogations. And I've interviewed Justin before on the channel, and he's also been my co-pilot on at least one or two discussions and or interviews. I forget now off the top of my head. Top of my migraine-ridden head, unfortunately, everybody. Sorry about that. And also, there's Script Doctor's link as well in the chat. Thank you, Miranda Stone.
Thank you.
Queen of the Discords and also of the PR here. I script, and besides whatever happens on, if we do a TEDx next week, that'd be great. I can talk to you then. I did want to do like a follow-up with you on, since it's been almost a year now since the WGA strike and everything. And I wanted to talk to you at some point and see what I can't believe it's already been almost a year, but I wanted to do a follow-up with you and talk about what's been going on in the industry and the fallout from all that in the meantime at some point, if you're free.
Oh, absolutely. It's been better than what I expected. I'll put it that way.
Cool. All right. Well, hey, everybody. Again, thank you guys so much for joining me today, everybody in the chat. Appreciate you coming out. Appreciate all the well wishes very much, both for my migraine and for my now elderly years. I appreciate it. Again, big thanks to Inhuman Form, Formy, Tom Connors, Gary Cassell, Blind Press, Chaos Eve, Script Doctor. Guys, thanks so much for taking the time to stop in and say hello and hang out for a bit. Again, extended thanks to Ranting Monkey and Sinatra Says and Tail Feature, who couldn't make it, but got the invite either way. And anybody else that I'm forgetting, because my brain's going sideways right now. Again, tomorrow night, Thursday night, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, will be TED Excellence, or the subject, as already spoken, will be a blueprint for racial healing, whatever that means. We'll find out together. It's a relatively lengthy TEDx, 20 minutes long, so I'll have my work cut out for me and your tolerance as well. We'll get through it together with TEDx Bingo. So moderators, as many of you as there are, as Jerry pointed out, thank you guys so much for keeping an eye on things. Even though everyone here is so well behaved, you have very, very little to do. Everybody who donated either to myself or to the link at the top of the chat box to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society of America, thank you guys so much for your generosity. Very much appreciate it. Beyond that, boy, oh boy, thank you guys again for all the well wishes. Hope you enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. It's Wednesday, yes, still. Sorry, my brain is going sideways. Hope you all enjoy the rest of your week. Hope you're all safe and well. And for my guests, if you'll stick around just for a minute afterwards so I can say thanks to you after the outro. Sure. Thanks for and guys. I appreciate the consideration either way. Everyone, I hope you're all safe and well. If you're not well, please get well soon, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.